And it's just after 8 in the morning, and we've just set up a soft blockade, and we've got some rebels inside the gherkin. Let's have a quick look.
Thank you. And you, SES.
Got another way out.
I'll take me standing in that.
Let's see if we can go and see our rebels who are inside. There we are.
Hello, we're here today inside of the Gherkin lobby. We're occupying it as part of the Insurer Survival Week of Action. Within this building is the reinsurance company Swiss Re, and we're here today to demand that insurance and reinsurance companies rule out insuring fossil fuel projects. Swiss Re has quite a comprehensive policy on climate, on fossil fuel projects, but we don't believe that it goes far enough to limit the worst effects of climate breakdown. Would you like to add something?
Yeah, so the reason that we're here with an insurance company is because the fossil fuel industry cannot operate without insurance. They have to have insurance to be able to operate. So if we can cut off the insurance, then that means that it's going to be less coal, oil and gas extracted. Now the big thing is that we're not asking the insurance companies to pull out immediately and make these folk redundant. All we're doing is asking them not to insure any new oil and gas. And a lot of the companies are doing very well, but we must go much, much faster.
So insurance companies like Swiss Re are increasingly on the hook, paying out for the effects of flooding and fires and crop failures, and at the same time they're still insuring the cause of climate change. So Swiss Re has recently insured new coal projects, which is the dirtiest of all fossil fuels.
To make sure that the insurance industry recognises its role, recognises its position and responsibility here. That if they were to pull the plug on these new fossil fuel projects, they could contribute massively to slowing down this fossil fuel death machine that is consuming our future even as we speak. So the insurance industry has a crucial role. What most people don't really know about insurance and the role they play, and most people don't really understand that insurance could be the hero. So we're here today to show people, to expose the shine light on the insurance industry so that people all around the world insurance industry could be doing so much more. And if they want to do that, they could be recognised as legitimate heroes in the struggle to protect our future, to protect life on Our Survival is the name of the campaign, and I suppose it's a catchy, cheerful name, but the reason is deadly serious. And the insurance industry right now could have this pivotal role in slowing down the destruction of the natural world and slowing down the pace of global heating. But in fact, right now it's fueling the fire, no pun intended. And the insurance industry should really, I would say, should really have an eye on the risks, should really have an eye on the direction of travel, and the insurance industry could really do so much more. It doesn't have to insure fossil fuel projects. It could actually choose to insure renewable energy projects, really support that nation state which is so vital to decarbonise our society and decarbonise our economy. Then in practice, choosing to actively support the fossil fuel industry by ensuring these projects. And it's worth also talking a little bit about the sort of projects that we really are very concerned about. These are called carbon bomb projects, which are so massive that if the fossil fuels that are connected to
I think it's by 2035.
Well, it's 2035 is certainly going to be it for some people.
Yeah.
I live on the Trent and I can see it from my front window. And the floods are going to come all the way towards Newark.
Hi, Mary. Why are you here? Where are we and why are you here today?
We're in London at the Gherkin building outside the offices of Swiss Re, and we're here because we need to stop the fossil fuel industry from creating more chaos with the climate. I'm particularly interested in this protest today because it's about food security. Now, Britain only produces about half the food that we need as it is, and this year the wheat harvest was down by almost a quarter because of the terrible weather that we've been having. Most of Britain's fruit and veg comes from the fenlands or other low-lying parts of the country, and when sea level rises, that will leave us with whole counties underwater. We're talking about most of East Anglia becoming back to the sea. We really can't contemplate what will happen with such a densely populated country, with such large cities, when the food runs out. They think that we're a problem sitting protesting quietly, but imagine the riots that are going to happen, the terrible crimes that will be committed when people have nothing to eat. We're really here upholding law and order. I wish the police would understand that they are upholding a system which is killing us, and it will kill them. Legally speaking, the government is acting illegally under international law. We've got to prevent climate change because the world is a very heavily populated place. And if we run out of food, we're going to have the most terrible, terrible loss of life, riots, murdering, looting. It's an unimaginably terrible future for our children and our grandchildren, and we need to do everything we can to prevent this dreadful scenario coming about. Thank you.
Thank you, Mary.
to bed, America. Your government is in control again. Here, watch this. Shut up. You are free to do as we tell you. You are free to do as we tell you.
Your passions, your regrets, your darkness, your time life, your obsessions, your sins, your fears, your breath, your tips, your ass, your laughs, your balls, we run, we decline.
Get this in the slippers.
Fossil fuels are fueling climate breakdown, bringing droughts, floods, and famine. Those who are least responsible for the climate crisis are paying the price of big oil's greed. As the climate destabilises, food systems collapse and futures are lost. Fossil fuel giants are wrecking the planet. But they couldn't do it without their enablers, the insurers who profit from this destruction. These are the CEOs who insure the fossil giants. Their decisions result in the loss of loved ones and livelihoods. The world is turning against the companies that finance climate collapse. Every fossil fuel project they insure leads to more destruction, more hunger, more death, and more climate chaos. People are suffering. People are dying. Insurance companies must stop underwriting fossil fuel murder.
Hello everybody, hello and good morning, welcome here, this is Extinction Rebellion, here in front of the Gherkin, the famous Gherkin. We are here as part of the Ensure Biodiversity. Extinction Rebellion in the streets of London, on Monday, Tuesday and Wednesday this evening across the UK for the rest of the week. The demand of Ensure Our Survival is that the insurance industry steps up and stop insuring the new fossil fuel projects. Ensure Our Survival means that the insurance industry has a superpower that it can be using and can actually help to slow down this fossil fuel death machine that's consuming our Thank you for being so brave. Thank you for pushing your comfort zones in the service of all life on this planet. The beautiful people. Imagine what they had to go through this morning, getting up with that feeling in their stomach, feeling of discomfort and nervousness, stepping into this gigantic city of London. We are Extinction Rebellion and we are here as part of our Ensure Our Survival campaign. We're here in front of the famous Gherkin building, home of the Swiss Re. This is a reinsurance company. These are the insurance companies that back the insurance companies.
Yeah, I'm going to turn it up.
Just in case they get lots and lots of claims that they can't pay out on. So, the Ensure Our Survival campaign. The Ensure Our Survival campaign is really about targeting the Achilles heel, as we've described it, of the fossil fuel industry. The fossil fuel industry, if many of you will know, is killing you, killing your future, destroying the very foundation and basis for life on this planet, which is healthy ecosystems and stable global temperatures. The insurance industry has a key role to play in the fossil fuel industry because without insurance, fossil fuel projects like the hugely damaging proposed East Africa crude oil pipeline or the Rosebank oil field, these projects, these so-called carbon bomb projects, cannot go ahead. So insurance is required to make a fossil fuel project viable, we also need finance and we also need permits. And the government so far have seemed to be very reticent to rein in the development of fossil fuel projects. The financial sector also seems happy to finance climate destruction, but the insurance industry does not actually need to do that. The insurance industry could insure other projects. They could insure good things that don't destroy the planet. They could insure things that don't destroy the insurance industry, because as you know, fossil fuels create carbon dioxide, which destabilizes our planet's ecosystems, which create extreme weather, which create lots and lots of insurance claims and huge payouts that are probably unsustainable. So here we're here today, Extinction Rebellion are here in this Insure Our Survival campaign to make sure that the insurance industry recognises its role, recognises its position of responsibility here. That if they were to pull the plug on these new fossil fuel projects, they could contribute massively to slowing down of this fossil fuel death machine that is consuming our futures even as we speak. So the insurance industry has this crucial role, but most people don't really know about insurance and its role to play, and most people don't really understand that insurance could be the heroes. So we're here today to show people, to expose, to shine a light on the insurance industry so that people all around the world, all around the country realise that the insurance industry could be doing so much more. And if they were to do that, they could be recognised as legitimate heroes in the struggle to protect our future, to protect life on Earth. So this morning here today, we're doing what's called a soft blockade of the Gherkin, home of Swiss Re. This soft blockade, as you can see, Extinction Rebellion is completely committed to non-violence. We are a non-violent, peaceful organisation. We do that because we believe it's more effective, but also because it's morally correct in the views of the rebels who participate in these actions. We realise and recognise that that's not necessarily the possibility for people around the world on the frontline struggles in places like the Niger Delta, where companies like Shell are killing the locals, where people are disappeared in places like the Amazon, where lives are very, very difficult and dangerous. But here in the UK, we have the option of non-violent direct action protest. This morning, we're here in front of Swiss Re, trying to talk to insurance workers, the employees, who might feel just like small cogs in the machine of the insurance industry, but who are actually, in fact, holding part of the key to a huge power that could be unleashed to slow down this fossil fuel death machinery that is just consuming our future. And let's make no mistake, the fossil fuel industry knows what it's doing. It's known since the 70s, so several decades it has known that fossil fuels are warming the planet, and that is going to create huge devastation and is already now creating huge devastation. So we are now here talking about the insurance industry to get them to step up. And in front of the Gherkin here this morning, we have this soft blockade, rebels sitting peacefully on the ground. We have pictures by the famous photographer Gideon Mendel illustrating scenes of climate catastrophe, the impact of real people's lives. And today the title of our action is After the Floods, Food Shortages and Wrecked Lives. And we're trying to really bring that to life, trying to explain to people what this really means, and trying to connect the insurance industry to the real life devastation that's happening around the world right now. And I don't know if some of you will be able to see, we have an ad van which is parked just across the way from me over there. That's that over there. And that's going to be driving around the City of London, around all sorts of insurance companies, showing people about what's going on in the insurance industry and what's going on with the climate catastrophe that is unfolding. We've got plans later on today as well that we'll be developing, but we are mainly going to be here this morning trying to speak to insurance workers. We've got a leaflet inviting people in the insurance industry to come to an online meeting. They can come anonymously, they can come completely confidentially, and we can start to work out how they can use their power to change the insurance industry from within and to create the change that we so desperately need. So just to remind everybody, yes, we are Extinction Rebellion, we are here. Ensure Our Survival is the name of the campaign. And it's, I suppose it's a catchy, cheerful name, but the reason is deadly serious. In the insurance industry right now could have this pivotal role in slowing down the destruction of the natural world and slowing down the pace of global heating, when in fact right now it's fueling the fire, no pun intended. And the insurance industry should really have an eye on the risks, should really have an eye on the direction of travel, and the insurance industry could really do so much more. It doesn't have to insure fossil fuel projects. It could actually choose to insure renewable energy projects, really support that nascent industry which is so vital to decarbonise our society and decarbonise our economies. Yet in fact it's choosing to actively support the fossil fuel industry by insuring these projects. And it's worth me talking a little bit about the sort of projects that we really are very, very concerned about. These are so-called carbon bomb projects, which are so massive that if the fossil fuels that are projected to be taken out of these projects is fully burned, they will destroy any chance of holding temperatures to anywhere near the safe levels that are required by the Paris Agreement of 2015, and it will be really very damaging to everybody's lives. These carbon bomb projects are so huge, so catastrophically bad, that any single one of them really needs to be stopped. So I'm going to give an example. There's one called the East Africa Crude Oil Pipeline. East Africa Crude Oil Pipeline, sometimes called ECOP, is 1,445 kilometers through Central and East Africa to basically extract crude oil and take it to the coast where it can be exported. Now this is problematic on so many fronts. This pipeline is a heated pipeline, so crude oil is very thick and gloopy. It has to be heated to make it runny enough to be pumped down these pipes, which obviously requires huge amounts of energy. And this is called fossil fuel energy, of course, is going to be used to warm this pipeline. So this is a hugely damaging project just in its own right in terms of its own carbon emissions, let alone the emissions of what it will be exporting to be burned and consumed around the world. And the real issue here with the ECOP is not only the carbon emissions, but also to do with the way that these projects are how would I say this, how they're prosecuted, how they're continued, because they very often involve the trampling of the rights of people who live nearby the projected routes of this pipeline. Very often this includes intimidation, violence, evictions, all sorts of really brutal tactics that very often take place far away from the scrutiny, from the eye of the public. So East Africa Crude Oil Pipeline is a horrific project. We also have closer to home the Rosebank oil field. Rosebank oil field has a huge potential carbon emissions for its lifetime. Again, this is all done in the name of energy security or economic growth. But unfortunately, we know that if these carbon bomb projects go ahead, the amount of carbon released in their lifetimes will contribute massively to climate breakdown, to global overheating, which will destabilize our ecosystems, destabilize our weather systems, create more extreme weather, which in turn will have a massive impact on our food systems. So Extinction Rebellion here today are trying to communicate about the impact of extreme weather. It's not just rain somewhere else, it's not just hurricanes, it's not just floods or droughts. These have real world impacts around the world and in this country as well. We already have seen this year in the UK the harvests of I can't remember exactly what the harvest of the staple foods that are grown in this country are down by around about a fifth. And that's because of the extremely wet winter that we've had. And as food systems come under strain around the world, we can be faced with a situation where...
No, that was my one, yeah.
We can be faced in a situation where the stress put on society, food prices rising, food prices becoming unfeasibly high for people, pressure on society, creating strife, creating the possibility of social disorder, and all of these things are really unpleasant. And Extinction Rebellion, despite the way that we are misrepresented and portrayed sometimes in the public eye, Extinction Rebellion want to prevent this destabilisation of society. We want to prevent the misery that is coming down the line if we do not stop, try to reduce the harm caused by fossil fuels. So today we have our soft blockade here of Swiss Re. Now, not many people know about this company. I've been learning myself, but reinsurers are massive organisations with huge financial power who back the insurance industry, who back insurers who are insuring the fossil fuel projects. So a company like Swiss Re would essentially support insurance companies who are having to potentially pay out for floods or hurricane damage, in case these insurance companies who are insuring properties and all sorts of things in those situations cannot pay out in the event of these extreme weather events. So Swiss Re actually also has a massive power here, because it is essentially insuring, by insuring fossil fuel projects, it's ensuring the destruction of our planet, it's ensuring more extreme weather, ensuring more floods, more fires, more droughts, more crop failures, more potential disasters all around the world, which in fact, if it were to redirect its efforts and redirect its resources, it would be able to push more renewable energy and all sorts of more positive projects that can actually help our adaptation to a warming world. So the employees in this building here, this iconic building, could and should, if they have a real responsible view and a real careful understanding of what is going on in the world, following the science, they could actually use this power to divert their attentions away from supporting fossil fuel projects and towards protecting life on Earth. And that's why we're calling it Ensure Our Survival. So just want to also explain a little bit again about these facts. Oh yeah, so we're also going to be, this is a fun and cheerful thing that we're going to do. With Extinction Rebellion, we're not talking about fun subjects here, but we're inviting people to lean into the discomfort of the issues that we're facing. We are facing a real problem, and we need to lean into it, because just pretending that things carry on as usual is not tenable. But we're also like to try and bring a bit of fun and mischief to things. So today we're going to be handing out gherkins to the employees as they walk past, with a little message to them to invite them to step into their power, to step into their power that they have within their industry, however small they may feel in their industry. They could perhaps push and try to move towards the changes that are required in that industry to stop ensuring death and destruction around the world, stop ensuring the fossil fuel industry, which is creating so much problems, and actually start to turn this thing around. So we have our people sitting out in front of the entrance here. You can see I'm going to just try and read some of the facts out that I can see. So yes, it says there, just the back against the window there, UK veg production has fallen 5% due to increased flooding and extreme weather. So that's an example. We've had a lot of people who've been moaning about how wet and horrible it's been this winter. Well, actually that bad weather has real world impacts. It creates pressure on our food systems, and our food systems are not that resilient. We have lots of issues with just-in-time supply chains, long supply chains requiring lots of transportation across long distances. These are extremely vulnerable to disruption by extreme weather, and we are saying that actually we do not think that we should stand by and let that continue. That doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense that the insurance industry is continuing to back projects that directly contribute to climate destruction and to the collapse of our ecosystems. So, Ensure Our Survival, this Extinction Rebellion campaign is all around the City of London, has been here Monday, Tuesday and Wednesday. and then it's going to go across the UK, visiting insurance offices around the country to try and get this message through, to try and help people understand. The insurance industry has this crucial role to play. It could stop insuring the fossil fuel industry, stop insuring new fossil fuel projects, to try to actually slow down this monstrous industry, the fossil fuel industry, which knowingly is destroying life on Earth, knowingly destroying the foundation for our economy, knowingly destroying the foundation for our society, knowingly destroying the foundation of our happiness and our future. We depend on our ecosystem, we depend on the Earth being healthy to do everything. And in fact, the fossil fuel industry knows that it is destroying those foundations, yet it continues to do so, insanely pursuing profits over the future of all of us, including themselves. So the insurance industry is the connection here, this vital Achilles heel as we describe it. The Achilles heel of the fossil fuel industry is insurance, because without insurance, fossil fuel projects cannot go ahead. So Ensure Our Survival, this Extinction Rebellion campaign, is pushing to try to get the insurance industry, to demand the insurance industry steps up, uses its power, uses its understanding of risk, uses its understanding of data that it should really be across, I would think, as insurance companies, to actually think about what that means, what it could do. So we're going to be driving our ad van around. I don't know, can you perhaps just see that in the distance there? The ad van is going to be driving around with images of climate breakdown, images of flooding and fires. It's also going to be displaying videos of our Star Wars inspired call to action, which famously has Chris Packham as a rebel general in the Rebel Alliance, briefing the rebels, saying, inviting everybody to come and join the Rebel Alliance, to be a part of trying to take action against the fossil fuel Death Star, as we've described it in these videos. It's a tongue-in-cheek thing, obviously, but the fossil fuel Death Star is not such a bad analogy when we think about it. This huge industry is actually got the power to preserve or to destroy life on this planet. And actually the insurance industry protects that fossil fuel Death Star, protects it and keeps it going. So we're actually saying, look, please, insurance industry, act responsibly. Let's do something good, let's do something wise, let's do something responsible for all life on Earth, for the future of all of us, for the future of all beings, people who are not yet born yet. The insurance industry could be looking out for them. The Swiss Re, which is one of the companies that is in this famous gherkin behind us. And it's interesting because Swiss Re is the world's second largest reinsurance company and is a very influential global player. So it does actually say here, credits to Swiss Re, that is has some of the most advanced climate policies in the reinsurance sector. So on coal, on oil and gas, it actually does have its eye on the ball. Yet, it's still, these policies are still incomplete and do not comply with scientific recommendations on climate change. So it says Swiss Re has taken some strong steps on coal, but needs to address the gaps in its oil and gas policy, including when it offers reinsurance treaties. They need to exclude all fossil fuel companies with expansion plans and to phase down their cover in line with targeting 1.5 degrees. So Swiss Re, inside this giant glass gherkin, the employees in here, there must be people who have the power to steer and move the direction of this company away from ensuring mass death, misery and destruction around the world by ensuring fossil fuel projects. It has the potential to steer away from that and move towards supporting the renewable industry and to help prevent climate catastrophe. And the title of our actions here today are After the Floods, Food Insecurity and Wrecked Lives. And we are really talking today about the real world impacts of the insurance industry's continued work with the fossil fuel industry. Our ad van is going to be driving around with the pictures of the CEOs of various insurance industries, various insurance companies, should I say. And we recognise these people as human beings. Extinction Rebellion, we are based in humanity, We are based in love and care, and we recognise these people, these CEOs are human beings. They've got their own stresses and strains. They've got their own lives that they're trying to lead. But we also recognise that they have huge power and huge responsibility. So we are appealing to those CEOs. We appeal to the CEO of Swiss Re to do the right thing, to step up their responsibility. Not just to say, oh yeah, we can, we're doing a few things on our policy, but actually commit, really use their power. It's not just about pretending, it's about really acting in line with the demands of the preservation of life.
Good morning. Can you tell me who you are?
Okay, well, my name is Gideon Mendel. I'm a photographer, artist, filmmaker, climate activist, and you can see some of my photographs behind me here being used as part of this protest.
So what is actually your project, your photography project about?
Well, for the last 18 years, whenever I can, I've been trying to photograph the real impacts of climate change on people. So it's a crazy idea, but I've been going to scenes of flooding and the aftermath of fires. I've been to more than 15 countries around the world. And I've built up what I call a typology of climate change. So it's a series of portraits of people either in their flooded homes or in their, in the ruins of their burnt houses. And it's a kind of direct challenge to people to see people so affected by climate change engaging the camera directly. So it's a body of work which has been seen, it's been published in the media, it's been kind of exhibited in many galleries and museums, but most of all, I'm really proud to see how the work has been kind of picked up by organizations like XR, Money Rebellion, Greenpeace, and used as part of climate protests. I mean, there couldn't be a more important validation of what I'm doing, to see my work used in this kind of context.
So when you went to these places to photograph these scenes of climate change, emotionally, was it tough doing it, or was it?
I mean, on one level it's logistically very hard, and also I'm engaging with people at a moment of climate trauma. So one has to be very sensitive and very careful, but I'm also aware that, that's difficult for me. What the people I'm photographing are experiencing is like 1,000 times worse, So I like to think that what I offer people is a moment of deep witnessing. People really, I think, want to share what's happened to them with the world, and I'm kind of a conduit for them to demonstrate the impacts of climate on the lives of ordinary people in many different countries around the world.
And are you happy with that today's outcome?
Yes.
Your work being done on display outside this building?
I think, it's really interesting to see the way the work is used kind of creatively, and I like to think of it as a kind of human exhibition. It's putting photographs in a position, in a place where they can have a deep impact and also an immediate kind of protest impact. And I like to think that people going by are often drawn by images in a stronger and deeper way than they are by words.
Well, what's next for you?
What's next? I'm working on putting a book together. I also make a lot of video pieces, and I have a video piece which I made in collaboration with a local school in Hackney. It's going to be shown at a UN regional conference to government ministers in the run-up to COP29. I keep on trying to find ways to get myself to scenes. I may get to the aftermath of the recent fires in Portugal next month. But it's always a challenge to kind of get to scenes of climate disaster, but also to consolidate the work I've done. So I think my intention is to create a kind of hybrid photo book and activist tool. So we'll be making a book which will be combined with a set of posters, which will be able to go out and be used widely. So that's something I'm working on right now.
Thank you very much.
Okay. Take some fires for the
Some flyers for your colleagues? Some flyers for your colleagues?
Building passes, please. Building passes. Building passes ready. Building passes. Building passes.
How are you doing? Well
The belly of the beast.
So we've got the three rebels who were locked up inside the Gherkin, and why did you guys do it?
So we were occupying the lobby of the Gherkin because it's home to a reinsurance company, Swiss Re. And although they have quite a comprehensive policy on fossil fuels, we don't believe that it goes far enough, because we need insurance companies and reinsurance companies to use their powers to stop insuring fossil fuel projects so that they can no longer go ahead. It's a really good method of just stopping them.
How do you guys feel about doing this today?
Yeah, I mean, it's a nerve-wracking thing to do, but it's so important. The problem is that these insurance companies and the reinsurance companies could be doing so much more to help towards keeping temperatures below 1.5 degrees. We're not asking them to fire everyone who's in the building, we're just asking them not to take on any new projects for oil, gas and coal. And that would be a very simple thing to do. Some insurance companies are very good at doing that and they're heading in the right direction. But it's ridiculous that we're here in London, in the City of London, where we've got insurance companies who are refusing to take on insuring properties in California because those properties are catching fire, and instead are insuring the cause of this disaster.
And finally, how do you feel about this?
Yeah, I think it's really important to take this message to the companies and to the employees of the companies. So hopefully it will help them link what they're doing in the offices upstairs to actually the real world effects of climate change out here.
Thanks a lot, guys. Cheers.
Some non-violent gherkins to ensure a peaceful future on our planet. This one says go green, baby.
Think responsibly. Please, let's not go all together.
Hey, hello everybody. Welcome everybody who's watching. It's super nice to know people are out there getting involved, interested in Extinction Rebellion and what we're about. So we're right now in Tower Hill Gardens. We've got the Tower of London behind us, and Extinction Rebellion is getting ready to get out there and send a message to the insurance industry. Our Insurer Survival campaign is about calling out the insurance industry for its support of the fossil fuel industry. And for those of you who are watching this, I'm guessing you'll need no further understanding that the fossil fuel industry is killing us. It's killing you. It's killing our future. It's killing everything that we know and love on this beautiful planet of ours. And it knows about it. And yet so far, our governments, our financial systems have done nothing to rein them in. And we believe, and it's our understanding, that the insurance industry is actually a key in this situation. Because for a fossil fuel project to get off the ground, like a new pipeline or a new oil field, it has to have three things. It has to have permits from the government, it has to have finance, and it has to have insurance. And as I say, so far, our government seems relatively unwilling to rein in the activities of the fossil fuel industry. So permits are flowing out just to carry on. As we can see, there's been new permits issued last year and not rescinded by the most recent new government thus far. Secondly, finance. We need finance. They need finance to put massive amounts of money together for these huge projects. And so far, again, it seems like the money is flowing into these projects. However, these projects also need insurance to mitigate the risks that are inevitably going to be faced by such big projects. Engineering, social risks, also extreme weather, lo and behold. And that's why we are here targeting the insurance industry, because it's completely absurd. An industry that is completely focused on risk, understanding and trying to mitigate and predict the future, trying to help and organize risks so that so things can happen and are not hampered by fear. Unfortunately, the insurance industry is cracking on, insuring new fossil fuel projects, which is completely insane. First of all, we know that these fossil fuel projects are going to destabilize our weather systems, all our ecosystems, and this will lead to more extreme weather events, more payouts for insurers, which is essentially going to end up collapsing the insurance industry. So it's completely insane that they're doing that, number one. The second thing is that these fossil fuel projects absolutely reliant on insurance, and without it, they can't go ahead. So we believe that the insurance industry has this superpower that thus far it's not really using, with the exception of a few notable examples to a certain degree. They are not using this power, and they're continuing to essentially help the fossil fuel industry destroy life on Earth, which is going to destroy the insurance industry, which is going to destroy all our futures and all the beautiful things that we care and love about, and all the things that we don't even know yet, things that have not been born, those beautiful places that we've not seen with our own eyes. They are all under threat. So the insurance industry is key. Today, we've already seen actions in front of the Gherkin, the famous Gherkin in the city of London. That's home of a company called Swiss Re. And Swiss Re is a company that's called a reinsurer, and they insure the insurance companies. So if the insurance companies have to have massive payouts for the climate disasters, let's say, then actually these big companies, these reinsurers, backstop those companies to stop them from going bust. But of course, these reinsurers should know what's going on, right? Because more climate disasters, more extreme weather is going to render a lot of the world, a lot of these projects, either uninsurable or extremely costly, plus people's homes, places, whole areas of the world are going to be too costly to keep getting destroyed and rebuilt and destroyed and rebuilt. And that is going to be affecting terribly the lives of people all around the world. We already see, for example, in Florida, some insurance companies have said they don't want to insure in Florida because they can see the way that it's going. So it's completely insane. Extinction Rebellion, we are an organization who believe in truth. We act out of care and love for all life. And the truth is that the insurance industry could step up. And that's why we're here today. So we're here today, and we were here yesterday. We're going to be here tomorrow in London. And then the actions are going to be spreading out across the whole of the UK in various towns and cities. So I'm going to invite you all. You can check out online, Ensure Our Survival, find some of the information. There's lots and lots of actions. There may be actions near you. You can find out about those and perhaps come and get involved, see what's going on, meet Extinction Rebellion. Because, of course, in our lots of parts of our media and press, Extinction Rebellion are portrayed very, very badly, misrepresented, lied about. Because actually, if we were to look around here and see the people that are here, there are a great number of very lovely, kind, gentle, but serious people who know what's going on, who recognize the danger and who refuse to sit by. So maybe some of you watching this today are amongst that category who consider yourself to be a responsible citizen. And actually you're thinking, this isn't really sensible what's going on. And I think I need to act. So this is what we're about. We're not about sitting around signing petitions and things like that, although some of those things have an important role. We are about taking action, taking non-violent, peaceful, direct action to try and disrupt these systems, these industries that are basically complicit in destroying our planet and destroying our lives. And that is not cool. That's not okay. And we are acting on that understanding. So I've been talking a lot already. I'm wondering if we might go and cruise around and see if we can find someone to chat to. In fact, I'm going to find someone here. Would you mind? Could I just ask you a quick question on the live stream? Would you be okay with that? Yeah. So just come over here. I see you've got a leaflet here. It's very fancy. It's got like a kind of pop art style. And I'm just wondering, like, you've been approaching people trying to give these leaflets out. What is the messages that you're talking and trying to engage people with?
Yeah, we're just really talking a bit when they're going into the buildings, the insurance workers this morning. If they know why we're here,
This is the first question, which most of them do. They know we're coming. They've been told about us coming down. Some of the guys have been just walked straight past us, but we've been, really great when they stop and talk to us, and they put their point of view. The companies they work for, what they're earning their money to pay their bills and look after their youngsters. But we had some great conversations this morning, and there's some guys in the insurance business that are really engaged in forcing the change through. So it's reassuring when you have conversations like that.
And we're saying that insurance is winnable, right? Insurance is a lever that we can pull here in this country, in this town, and towns and cities across our country. And I've seen this leaflet here. So we've got 2 leaflets that I know about. Yeah. We've got one that is targeted for insurance workers and one that is aimed at the public. Can you just talk a bit about the insurance workers?
Yeah. I mean, the insurance one, as you say, Etty, it is purely on that. There is they're having a Zoom, an online discussion, and the idea is that they get insurance workers to go along to that, which is on the 6th of November. And that's all about seeing their point of views, and they're probably a good discussion about what's going on in the industry, how they can push the change forward. One of the questions I talked to a few people this morning, they say, well, the change is happening, but is the change happening fast enough? And the answer, and they say, no, not really.
Yeah.
But they're tied into their business models, and it's breaking free of those sort of chains and the way they've always done business. That's the way.
Well, thank you very much. I'll let you go. I could see you're on a mission off there somewhere. Okay, thank you so much for chatting to us. All right. Good luck. Keep the leaflets flowing. So, we're really trying to engage the insurance workers. We're trying to explain to the public what we're doing. We're setting up some really beautiful photos. If you go online, you'll be able to see Extinction Rebellion's photos. We're going to head over here and we're going to try and see if we can chat to a few people. But I think it's really, really interesting for people, because insurance industry basically continues more or less in, hidden away. People don't really know that the insurance industry has this role. People don't really understand what insurance is. It's not very sexy. It's not very awesome. But the insurance industry has this incredible power. And I really think that is really, really nice. And we feel that that is something that we can actually take on and win at. So I'm going to go and try and find someone else. Oh, here we go. I'm just going to ask over here. This looks kind of interesting. Excuse me, would you mind speaking on the live stream just a little moment, just to explain what you're setting up here? Would it be, are you sure you don't mind, or do you want to? I don't mind. But how about between you, do a teamwork? Okay, so I'll start. So I can see that you're setting up something here. What is the story, if you could explain?
Okay, so today's theme's all about food insecurity. So we've got the world's last potato, the giant potato.
Oh yeah, you can just see the last potato through there, perhaps behind.
We'll get to see it later. And we've got some leeks and some last munch too as well, and they're at very expensive prices.
And so what's the kind of message here? So the title of today's action is After the Floods, Food Shortages and Wrecked Lives. Can you try and explain just a little bit how we're connecting those up together?
Well, food shortage is something that we all will suffer from, and this is happening all around the world, in the global south. It's also happening in the sense that we are importing from further and further away places the food that we sell here. It's already happening in the sense that we can't really grow our own food. So once that infrastructure dies down, and once we aren't able to continue as we are currently, this is potentially the future we're looking at.
So this is that food insecurity is a major issue, a major worry. It's already, very, very expensive in this country. We've seen the average food prices have gone up. I think it was something like around £600 for the annual food basket per year. And about a third of that is directly attributable to climate change. So in this country, we've had a really bad winter, a bad summer, should I say, and the harvest is really massively down. There's lots of publicly available figures about that. And that is driving costs up. And that is really bad for everybody. But it's especially bad for the most vulnerable in our society. And Extinction Rebellion, over and over again, we're talking about climate justice. We're trying to explain that this is not right. This is not a matter of, just some floods or something happening in there. It's actually going to really destroy people's lives, make people miserable, and it's going to really destabilize our society. So I want to say thank you very much. Like in the old potato, look at that. £1 million is the starting bid on the world's last potato. So thank you very much. Have a good one today. We'll catch you up later. We're going to keep cruising around. So as usual at Extinction Rebellion, there's like colourful stuff. There's lots of flags. It's going to be really cheerful and always as peaceful. In fact, let's have a look around. We can see the police are behind us here. So a lot of people actually ask, what about Extinction Rebellion? Are we going to be doing something illegal? Are we going to be people going to be getting arrested? And it's an interesting thing because we know that at the moment, the environment in this country for protesters is extremely heavy, very, very oppressive. The previous government brought in the infamous Police Crime Sentencing and Courts Bill, which is really designed to shut groups like Extinction Rebellion down, trying to silence us. And actually, we have tried to find a way through that to bring people out, to motivate people to still stand up. Yet these laws are still really challenging and make people really worried. But actually, a lot of the stuff that Extinction Rebellion does nowadays, we are actually in dialogue with the authorities, in dialogue with the police, just so that they understand a little bit more about what we're doing, what we're about, and that we are exercising our human rights, and we are exercising our right to assemble and to express ourselves peacefully. And that is really, really right. And that's important in a healthy democracy. So I'm going to actually spot that someone is wanting perhaps to get on a microphone. We've got
Hugh.
Hugh, do you want to come over?
You can talk about Divest East Sussex.
Okay, then. So it's an interesting little side. So, yeah, Hugh, it'd be interesting to know. I don't know anything about Divest East Sussex.
Yeah, okay.
Do you want to just talk a little bit about it? You can talk to me if you like, so you don't have to worry too much.
So there's been basically a 10-year campaign to get East Sussex County Council to divest their pension fund from fossil
What does divest mean?
So pull the money out of investments in fossil fuels to send a signal to the fossil fuel industry that it's not socially acceptable to do what they're doing. And the hope is that if we can get this council to divest, who are a Tory council, it'll have a knock-on effect.
And it makes good financial sense, right? We're always talking about how basically it's the insanity, isn't it? Investing in fossil fuels, investing in this machine that, I keep repeating it, is literally destroying. It's our enemy. People everywhere should realize this. It is standing for the destruction of everything we hold dear, putting money into it through our pensions, through our banks, through all these other mechanisms. Makes absolutely no sense. So how is your campaign going?
Well, we've got them to sell a lot of their shares. They're down to a very small amount now, but they're really resisting taking the last step. Being a Tory council, they don't want to be seen to be the first one to give. So we're hoping, the hope is that the council will change, the control of the council will change, and then we'll get a win. But at the moment, we're down to a very small amount invested in fossil fuels in East Sussex County Council. But all those pensioners whose pensions are partly invested there, which includes Brighton and Hove, who have no say over where that money is invested. Brighton and Hove Council have no say at all. It's absolutely appalling.
So it's interesting. So this touches on another area that Extinction Rebellion is really strong on. And this is about, in many ways, the climate and nature emergency isn't a technical crisis of carbon dioxide in the atmosphere. It's a crisis of democracy. Because actually, if people's voices were heard, people's genuine concerns, and they had not been misled by misinformation and disinformation that's been deliberately put out there by the fossil fuel industry, then actually the democracy, if it was healthy, would be saying we shouldn't kill ourselves, we shouldn't destroy our planet, we shouldn't be investing in things that pollute our air, that destroy our health. It makes no sense. So we advocate for what's called a citizens' assembly on climate and nature, which is something that people can go online and check that out. But I'm wondering as well if you've got any thoughts about how democracy is kind of how it's not working, because I would say, you're talking about a council being a Tory council, but we would say, actually, even now we've seen most recently the new Labour government is not beyond reproach. They've taken money already from fossil fuel lobbyists. This is a crisis of democracy. Our democratic systems aren't working. Would you agree with that?
Yes, totally. And money is, big money is the problem, isn't it? Interestingly, with East Sussex County Council, what they claim is that engagement is what they're doing, but there's no evidence.
That old chestnut.
With engagement, fossil fuel companies worked at all, and yet they keep bringing. It's what a lot of councils keep bringing up, this idea. Oh, we're engaging, but they can't show any evidence for engagement working. So that there is a democratic deficit there because the people whose pensions are invested have no say in where their pension invested. A lot of the smaller councils and Brighton and Hove that have their money in East Sussex County Council Pension Fund have no say. It's just down to 5 councillors to have a say as to where that money is invested.
Well, look, thank you very much for joining us here. I just want to ask you, okay, so I'm not, okay, yeah, have you got a website or a way that people can get involved in that?
Yes, if you look at Divest East Sussex website, yeah.
Thank you very much. Have a good day and appreciate you coming to chat to us. We're going to keep cruising around. Really appreciate it. Keep up the good work. Divestment, very, very sensible, as you've just heard. Right then, so let's have a look. I'm going to give you a little quick tour and show you around a few things. I don't know if you can see over there in the distance. We've got all the purple stuff there. Do you see all that? This is what we call, this is our accessibility kind of setup. So Extinction Rebellion protests are designed very, very carefully to be as accessible, as inclusive as possible. And that includes people with mobility and sensory needs that are, hopefully we can meet them. We often set up when we're having a protest action stationary for a while, or some talks or speeches. We very often have a BSL interpreter like we have here, which is super awesome. Thank you. But we also try and make sure that people can sit comfortably if they can't stand around. Try and make sure everyone's like warm and comfy. But sometimes we end up standing in the rain, of course. You know, this isn't supposed to be comfortable. This is supposed to be right. But we try and make things as good as we can. So we're really looking after people. You know, see a person there in their wheelchair. Our marches are planned to be step-free. So there's a route for people with, with limited mobility or mobility challenges. They can help join, because this whole problem is, the climate and nature emergency affects everybody. We want everybody to get involved. We don't want to exclude anybody. We need to get everybody together because this affects everybody. People who are the most vulnerable, people who have the least say in this, are going to be the worst affected. So we're trying to bring those people, allow those people to join in if they want. And I'm inviting anyone out there who's watching right now to get involved with Extinction Rebellion. We need you. You need you. Consider it to be an investment in your future, because right now we're not really headed in the right direction. And with people power, with people getting together, telling the truth, knowing inside that what they're doing is right, we can muster the determination, the energy, the stamina to keep pushing at this until we make some progress. So I'm just going to, let's just kind of pan around slowly. We can see here the police liaison officers. They've got their light blue jackets on. The police are obviously hanging around, trying to find out what Extinction Rebellion is up to. We try to avoid talking to them if possible. But of course, at some points, we do have to speak to them to make sure that they understand what we're doing, to create a safe environment. But also, we understand and recognize that for many people, this is very difficult and perhaps not safe and not comfortable. But we do really try to make sure that we are doing our best to bring people, to allow people to participate in this if this is something that they want to do. I'm also going to, what else can we see? Well, we've got, let's spin around over this way. We can just see people in the background there with the bright pink stewarding vests. These stewarding vests. So these are stewards. This is a crucial part. So Extinction Rebellion is very much committed to the well-being and care of our rebels, of each other. That's our whole movement is based on care and support. And so the stewards help to keep the action safe and sound. All right, I'm going to stop there just for now.
What's just happened here?
Hi. So we pasted these posters on the wall of on the glass
outside of WTW. WTW is a huge insurance broker, 50,000 employees. A number of senior employees have been involved, are authors of this study that calculates the probability of food riots in the UK in the next 10 years. Also, WTW are insuring huge amounts of oil and gas projects all around the world, making this far more likely. It's just sickening to me that there's millions of people in this country short of food, going hungry, and yet it's one of the wealthiest countries in the world, right? And there's people in this building earning big salaries, calculating how likely we are to be fighting each other over food.
But surely the world needs fossil fuels. Don't we need to insure them as well?
Listen, there was a time before fossil fuels. There'll be a time after fossil fuels. We need to stop using fossil fuels as quickly as possible because it's killing us.
Why have we chosen this one place? Why?
It was specifically because their employees were involved in this study about food riots. This week we are in the City of London to make the point to insurers have calculated the chances of, or the chance what climate change will do in minute detail. That's their job. But we're here to bring the human consequences, the terrifying human consequences, home to them. That's what we're doing here.
It's quite possible WTW will watch this. Have you got a message for them?
Stop insuring climate criminals.
As simple as that. Great, thank you very much.
Hello, my name is Martin. I'm with Christian Climate Action here today with my brothers and sisters, and we are outside the headquarters of Chubb Insurance. The reason we're here is because of the entanglement of everyone on this earth with all these bad systems that are destroying it. So we know from the science, it's quite clear, the fossil fuel industry is totally destructive, and we just have to stop all new projects. So these projects, they need finance, they need insurance, and without them they can't go ahead. So Chubb have said, or have not said, they've indicated that they're not going to rule out insuring things like the East African crude oil pipeline, which will run through Uganda and Tanzania, and it will just be so destructive. So we're here basically to point out the truth. They are part of this big problem, and we just have to call out the truth. And, well, people need to boycott them if they want to change. We demand that they change, because they are really part of this entanglement that's destructive in the world.
Hello, I'm Melanie, and I am from Christian Climate Action, and we are here outside Chubb. Chubb Insurance is, sorry, there's a lot of traffic, so it's a bit noisy, but Chubb Insurance is one of the companies that has not ruled out new fossil fuel projects, and in particular hasn't ruled out the East Africa crude oil pipeline. So we have come to highlight the injustice of exploiting oil and gas in countries like Africa. And we have brought the words of African activists on boards. We want to amplify their message so that they take extraordinary risks in their own countries. It's very courageous, but we want to the world to know what they're saying, that actually the effect in their countries, as you can see from one of the boards, 80% of Ugandans are facing food shortages, primarily as a result of global warming. But what the East Africa crude oil pipeline does, not only does it contribute to global warming, it's displacing people, indigenous people from Africa, off their lands and sending them to cities where they live very precarious lives. And that is just injustice writ large. There are no words to speak about how we live this lifestyle at the expense of people like that who are so vulnerable.
All right, so yeah, we're on the streets with Extinction Rebellion. As you can see, we're on the streets. We've got our march formed up. It's beautiful. sunlight coming through behind those beautiful flags. We've got our world's last potato at the front there. £1 million, the starting bid. You know, we're kind of trying to make light of this, but actually this is a brutal, serious situation. And we're going to be taking that message to the insurance industry that's got the power to actually really pull up the fossil fuel industry and stop it from its outrageous and insane policy of continuing its business model, which is destroying the foundation of life on this earth. So, as usual, we've got a whole crowd of people with Extinction Rebellion. We've got our de-escalators wearing the white vests. They go and speak to people who may be a bit upset or angry that their lives are being disrupted. And of course, we understand that, take no pleasure in disrupting anybody's life. But of course, we are trying to prevent a disruption of the most epic and horrendous proportions. And, you know, we think this is a reasonable, proportional thing to do. We have also our stewards, we have our protest liaison, we have our action well-being team. They wear blue, dark blue vests to distinguish themselves from the light blue vests of the police liaison team, which we try not to speak to. The protest liaison, the action well-being team, should I say, they look after people with snacks and water. If it's raining, they have like jackets and things like that, trying to make sure that people can participate and feel good, because the whole point of what we're doing is to actually demonstrate our care for people, demonstrate our care for all life. And we start with ourselves, of course. We start with all life, trying to make our best efforts to just show that what we believe in. We believe that the world could be going in a different direction, in a direction that has got to do with care, love, empathy. And these things are worth struggling for, because at the moment, we're headed in the wrong direction. We're headed towards misery, and we don't want that. So, yeah, we're getting overtaken by the march right now. We're just going to keep going, try and see if we can find someone to speak to. It's always a little bit tricky. Oh, I've spotted someone to speak to. Here we go. I had a little chat with you earlier. Sorry to be bothering you. Can you walk? Yeah, we can walk along like this. Yeah, so you're here. You don't have to tell us your name or anything. Yeah. But I wonder, like, what brought you here? Like, why are you in Extinction Rebellion? Why are you here today?
Yeah, so I'm Charlie, and I'm here because I want our kids to have a better future. I want political change rather than climate change, and that's what we're here fighting for.
And, you know, I guess you know a bit about the insurance industry and why we're here. Can you articulate that in your words, if you'd be feeling comfortable to do that?
Yeah, so insurance companies are still funding fossil fuels, and we don't want them to. It's as simple as that. That's what needs to stop.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's crazy, right, when we think about it. The insurance industry is just, you know, supposed to know better, really. And I'm just wondering as well, you know, so today, this is a Tuesday. We've all got things we could be doing. We're not like a load of jobless people that everyone's like, oh, we're always, get a job. Actually, lots of people give up their time off work and stuff like that to do this. But I'm wondering, you must be motivated very strongly to get involved and try to give up your time and put some energy into this. And why, you know, does that strike you as strange, or does that just strike you as like, this is what I must do?
Yeah, it's the most important issue at the moment. Everything else depends on the future of the climate, and things like food and our survival is all connected to the earth that we're living on. So doing anything else, normally in my day job I'm designing websites, so I've got time to take off from that and be here.
Well, we're super grateful, and we're grateful for everyone who comes, everyone who supports us online. If you can't be here, check it out online. There might be actions nearby. You can donate to Extinction Rebellion to keep us going. But I'm really grateful. Just let's have a quick look at your placard. Look at that big fire, right? And that's what we're talking about, right? Fires, floods, droughts. These are all issues that the insurance industry knows about, knows what's going on, and is actually continuing to support and allow them to continue. Thank you so much for being here. I'm super grateful. Thanks for being brave enough to go on the live stream as well. So I'm going to catch up with another person here. Is that all right? Are you up for having a little chat on the live stream? So next to me here, well, I'll let you introduce yourself and perhaps just explain a little bit about what you do and what your role is in this particular day.
I'm Richard, and I'm one of our Extinction Rebellion protest liaisons, which means we're the people with the team that engage with the police and security if necessary, just to try and keep our activists as safe as possible. And really our mission is to optimize the effectiveness of the great actions that others have put together. And hopefully we're succeeding in that mission so far today.
So, Richard, there's always this thing, are we like friendly with the police? I mean, we're polite and cordial. We know that they stand with the state and with fossil fuel interests. They do not want us to be here, but they also have an obligation to allow us to exercise our rights. But how do you kind of work around that? Because it's like quite difficult, right?
Yeah, no, that's a really good question, Etty, because ultimately the police have two duties. One is to facilitate peaceful protest, which is what we do. But of course, we also deliberately try to create a little bit of tension around that and push the boundaries a bit, because that's the way that we can get our message across more effectively. We know from history that just marching around in the city is not enough to actually change hearts and minds of the decision makers. But if we are able to introduce, as Extinction Rebellion does so well, this kind of slight edge and using our creativity, then we are much more effective at getting our message across. And I guess that's one of our roles, is to try and communicate that with the police, to get them to understand that, when we bring a giant potato onto a protest, we're doing it for a reason. And it's not there as something which should be causing them any concern. In fact, they should be facilitating our use of our artistic theatre to be able to get the message across. And so far, they seem happy to have done that.
Hey, well, look, Richard, thank you very much. I know it's hard work, and everyone here, Extinction Rebellion, is a volunteer movement. We're all busting the gut. We're all putting our life and soul into this because this is a time in history that demands it, that we feel calls us to act. We cannot stand on the sidelines and just watch this horror unfold from our armchairs. We've got to try and do what we can. So we invite anyone who's watching, anyone who wants to get involved, to get involved. We have a principle, we have a set of 10 principles and values that you can look at on our website. And one of those principles is to try to push our comfort zones. And, it's not comfortable. It's not comfortable doing what you're doing. Sometimes it's not comfortable talking to people who are upset with us or who disagree. But, right, this is history, right? It's not comfortable to be alive right now, but we are going to try and do our best. So, Richard, I just want to ask you one final question. When you're doing this sort of role, do you find yourself kind of sweating and challenged as well? I mean, you are pushing your comfort zone, I guess.
Oh, yeah, for sure. But of course, we try and step into the roles where we can be of most use to the movement. And because, my background, I used to be a copper, it's not as challenging for me to talk to coppers and maybe just push back as it might be for somebody, particularly somebody who's had bad experiences of being over-policed, and we know all the stories about where and why that's happened. But so we try to do the thing that we can make the best contribution for, and hopefully this is me, a round peg in a round hole. So
nice one, Richard. Thank you very much. I'll let you crackle on. I got another person to speak to. Amazingly, they just appeared right next to me at the right time. Should we all shuffle around? I'll go that way. So you don't have to say your name, but you can do if you like. But I see you've got your orange bib on. And I see on the back it says XR Donation Station. There you go. So do you want to just tell us a little bit about, we can sort of tell, but tell us a bit more about what's going on, what you're doing here today.
Well, my name's Lisa. I'm in the XR fundraising team, and I'm here today as a rebel, and yesterday, which was amazing. Bringing protest and resistance to the insurance industry, which really needs to change. But what I want to say to people, watching this now is just thank you for all the donations that you've made, and maybe might make again, because none of this can happen without those donations. So our wonderful arts factory that creates this magic that XR is really known for, the well-being, the photography, lots of things here today just cannot happen without those donations. So thank you, and keep them coming, folks, because this cannot happen without them.
And how do people donate? What do they have to do if they want? If they're feeling like, I can't be here in London with these guys, I agree with what they're doing. What can they do if they've got a little money lying around that they can help? How can they do that?
Okay, well, the best thing to do is to get on the XR website. The donate button is always present. You can go to Chuffed, you can search up Chuffed, Ensure Our Survival, and that'll take you to the fundraising page just for this, which would be amazing. Yeah, I mean, and if you really, really want to support XR in a way that will support us in the long term, then please, please, please set up a regular gift, however tiny, even £2 or £5 a month more if you're able, will mean that we are steady into the future and can rely on that income, which is what we need.
Thank you ever so much. Really appreciate it. I'll let you carry on. Hopefully we can get the money rolling in. And it's a shame to say it, but we do need funding. We always need people to come and step up and give us some money to help us continue to do the work that we're doing. So, yeah, I don't know if you're really getting the pictures behind us of all the flags. You can probably hear Samba in the background. We're doing real good. We're taking it to the insurers district. We're going to be visiting insurers this afternoon, telling our message. I'll be really happy if you can stay with us or come down and get involved. Check out the website. There's loads of different ways, actions all around the country. See you on the streets.
Adam, would you like to introduce yourself and tell us the very special reason why you've decided to come along today?
Okay, my name's Carrie and I've come from Oxford today, and I wanted to join in this day in particular because the theme is about food riots and about the impact on food distribution from climate change. Because I work in a food bank in Oxford, in a mutual aid organisation that distributes food to the needy, and I'm very well aware from doing that work how many people are struggling to feed themselves and their families even today, and that we know that the impact of continuing climate change and damage to crops is going to just cause more and more difficulty for people in paying for food. The costs are going to rise, people are going to continue to struggle, and in this country we are reliant on so much of our food coming from overseas. And if people are struggling in this country, I think it's the 5th wealthiest country in the world, something like that, then what are the rest of the world going to do? It's really getting very serious, and so the posters say it all.
Let's have a look at this poster. What does the poster say?
It says WTW, which is the insurance company that we're standing in front of. Why are you insuring new fossil fuels when your own study says this could cause food riots in the UK within 10 years? That says it all. They know what's happening.
Why are they still insuring them then?
Well, good question, isn't it? It's money, I guess. Follow the money.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well done. Thank you very much.
Thank
Madam, would you like to introduce yourself and tell us where we are?
My name's Sam. I've come down from Lancaster to the heart of the City of London. We're right opposite the Lloyd's building.
What building is this?
Here we're in front of the WTW offices.
And why have you come along here today?
Because WTW are not taking the situation we're facing seriously. They've published a report saying that food riots are possible in the next 10 years, and they're still insuring fossil fuels. People need to wake up, and they're not. They're just carrying on like our everyday lives are going to carry on, but they won't if we don't do anything.
I'm guessing if you're a young person, you could be having a much easier life. Why have you decided to come and protest and do this today instead?
Because no one else is taking action. So the few of us who are, we have to, because otherwise our future, we're heading for a really unbearable situation, and I don't want to see that. I don't want to see that much suffering.
Do you think WTW will listen?
I think they will. They've published this report. They're aware, and they can't keep hiding under the carpet forever.
Thank you very much.
And you're back with us here at the march in the city of London. That was just some really amazing testimonies from the people at the occupation at WTW, who, as they explained already, found in their own research, their own members of staff have said that the fossil fuel industry is contributing to mass food shortages, mass flooding, more climate disasters, more natural disasters. And that hasn't shaken them up to stop insuring fossil fuel projects. So we're just going to go and pay them a little visit, I think. So Etienne's just been talking to lots of people of the public already, and members of the march. They've got the samba band behind us, and we'll go talk a little bit at the front of the march, where we have the world's last potato, which is being auctioned off for £1 million for the world's last potato. So people have been asking us, well, you did flooding yesterday. Why are you talking about food now? So the reason is that, of course, at the end of the day, what happens after the floods, after the droughts, after the fires, is that we run out of food. Our crops are literally going to either drown or burn. So what happens then is we're going to have empty shelves in the supermarkets. So I think we're going to try and walk a bit faster so we can get away from the samba band. So we had a lovely morning at the Gherkin, where we shared some photos of people all over the world already suffering the consequences of climate and ecological breakdown. And of course, lots of people working in this industry don't necessarily understand the link of the work that they are doing and people suffering from famine already. So it's really important that we go and highlight and illustrate that we literally have these big placards with the facts, with photos of people standing up to their necks in floods. So it's really important for them to understand that this is directly connected to the work they are doing and that they can play a role in stopping it. So that is a really key message for today. So what's happening here at the front of the march is sort of old school market stall vendors. And you'll see that here we've got crops, things that we take for granted at the moment, going for extortionate prices, because that's what we're going to be seeing. We are not going to be able to afford to buy the food that we take so much for granted right now, because there'll be so little in supply that it will drive up the prices, and we will not, none of us will be able to afford to put food on the table. So I'll let you have a little look at some of the things happening over here. So here you can see the world's last potato with a starting bid of £1 million. Got your home may be leaking, but cheer up, 3 leaks for just £400. Carrots, 5 for £300. 10 little green peas for only £100. And meanwhile, behind them, we have people singing songs to the tune of Oliver Twist songs. Of course, we all know the song Food, Glorious Food, and who will buy this beautiful morning. So they've changed the lyrics. And here we've got onions, £50 for 1 onion. But a disclaimer, they are flood damaged. We'll see if we can speak to anyone, but we'll let them do their little tableau for a moment. Getting some nice shots here. So all the things that we take for granted, parsnips, peas, carrots, potatoes, we won't be able to get hold of them. Or if there are any, we, us ordinary folk, won't be able to buy them. So as we are slowly making our way to a building which has been called the Cheese Grater, walking past Chubb, another insurance company where Christian Climate Action have been standing out there for a while, again with these beautiful but devastating photographs of individuals from civil society in the global south, in various African countries, who are working so hard to help the people in their communities, help the people in their countries mitigate against the biggest impact of climate breakdown already. And they are here with us in spirit through these photographs. Yeah, we'll go and chat. And here as well. So they're saying specifically boycott Chubb and asking them to not insure the East African crude oil pipeline, or ECOP, better known as ECOP. We'll see if anybody would like to be on the live stream. We'll just show you the march for a second while I go and chat to people and see if they want to be interviewed. So hi, thanks so much for being on the XR live stream. What's your name? Are you allowed to tell us your name?
Yeah, of course. My name is the Reverend Vanessa Elston, and I'm part of the Christian Climate Action group. And so we're here outside Chubb because, like a lot of the insurers, they haven't said they're not going to insure the ECOP, the East Africa crude oil pipeline. And so we're here just to be that slightly visual irritant to say, look, this can't happen. Because not only for us, but particularly for the people of Africa, we need them to be ensuring renewable energy. We need them to be ensuring, as we said, the future and not the past.
Yeah. I mean, why would someone working here in the city of London, going about their day, they're all looking quite happy in their smart suits, you know, lots of money in the bank. Why should they care about people in Africa?
Well, if you're a human being, I don't know, I think you amputate part of your humanity if you say you only care about yourself. And actually it doesn't work because we are all connected. So what happens in Africa affects us, and the climate affects all of us. So it's a delusion.
Yeah, it is. You're right. It's a delusion to think that they're over there, we're over here. Who cares? As long as I'm fine. The world just doesn't work like that, does it?
No, and even if you're a business person, you would say that actually the potential of Africa is enormous. But of course, at the moment, the inequality, the poverty is terrible. And so therefore, actually, it would actually work for long-term prosperity if we helped Africa. It actually doesn't actually make sense. It's chronic short-term greed and selfishness.
Yeah. Talk us through some of these amazing photos that you're holding. I mean,
these are activists who really put their lives on the line. Many of them are in prison because they recognise that funding, the oil companies just come and really they extract, and they don't really benefit Africa. In fact, they've had a hugely corrupting effect on the politics, on government. So oil has not been good for Africa, and that's what they are protesting about. And so we want to just highlight them, really.
Because I think that's a huge misconception so often. I mean, they even say that here in the UK as well, is that the oil industry, it brings jobs, it brings prosperity to the communities. I mean, we just need to look at countries like Nigeria or, you know, other countries that have been where they found oil. It doesn't quite seem to be adding up, does it?
No, it doesn't add up, because often the poorest people, the people that actually suffer the consequences, the people that are not paid well, it's really the West that benefits. It's an offshoot of colonialism. It's colonial economics.
Yeah. And how did you get involved? I mean, you're here as a reverend.
So XR, like for a lot of people, back in 2019 was a wake-up call for me.
Yeah.
I hadn't been aware, as I should have been, how bad it was. So thanks to XR, I kind of went through that sort of wake-up, that painful waking up to how serious the direction of travel is.
Yeah.
And after that, I just knew I had to engage, and I became really much more involved. And because I'm a Christian, I felt that I wanted to participate as a Christian, because I think it's important the church is here. The church hasn't been in this space nearly enough. And so as part of my Christian commitment, I feel I need to be here to say enough is enough. You know, we've got to change.
Well, we're incredibly grateful that you're here, and to all of you. I see everyone has moved on, so we won't keep you. Yeah, you need to get going. But thank you so much for highlighting this, and thanks so much for speaking to us. Thank you. Bye. Yeah, so really incredibly heartfelt and also personal commitment of members of the church, you know, who have stepped outside of their comfort zone, who've stepped outside of the safety of their daily routine, their work, and have come here to really highlight this issue. And we'll try and speak to some more people about this in a moment. But the shocking thing is that not only does the fact that insurance companies insure fossil fuel projects, therefore creating climate and ecological breakdown, but those companies and people affected by the climate and ecological breakdown caused by the fossil fuel industry, which has been insured by the insurance industry, they are now unable to get insurance. Insurance companies are pulling out of climate affected areas, especially in the global south. So the people who are least responsible, who are most affected, are now also being told that their businesses, their infrastructure, their homes are not going to get any more insurance, because these very insurance companies are pulling out of their communities. So they're not even getting any support or help. They can't make any insurance claims to replace the roof on their houses or to replace the furniture that's been washed away or destroyed by floods, or loss of income because their crops have failed because of extreme drought or flooding. So the injustice of it all is just incomprehensible, really, and it makes you not understand why why insurance companies don't just pull the plug. But yeah, so you'll see behind us we've got this screen which is highlighting these are the CEOs of insurance companies that have refused to pull out of fossil fuel projects. So it's a nice reel there. Let's make them famous. Let's make sure that everyone knows that they are not taking responsibility for the impact they are having on the planet and on the communities who are already suffering. So we're just arriving outside Lloyd's of London, this iconic building here. They know us well in this building. They've heard of us, they've seen us before. So we'll go and have a look and see what's happening over here. And of course, having an ad van like this is really useful because people don't necessarily want to engage with us. They don't necessarily want to take one of our leaflets. They don't necessarily want to get a spiel from us on why we're here. So the ad van is just this great way of, you can't really not look at it when you walk past it. And we're hoping that that message will slowly trickle down. People in the insurance business have their own families, they have children, they have a planet to worry about. Okay, I think we're good. So here are some more, there's some more people sitting here. And I think we're going to go and watch another interview with Alex. Wow.
Hi, we're outside WTW, where we got some rebels plastering posters on. Can you tell us why you plastered this building?
Yeah, WTW is a massive insurance broker, 50,000 employees. Several of those employees, some quite senior, were involved in this study. You can see the link, where they calculated the probability of food riots in the UK in the next 10 years. A lot of food systems experts think this is probable. They think that climate is a really major cause of that. And needless to say, WTW are involved in new oil and gas projects all over the world. They know what's coming. They've calculated it, and yet they're doing they're making it more and more likely. Our demand to WTW is stop insuring climate criminals now.
What else can we do besides today? What else can we do besides today pushing this message forward?
I think we need to build a really strong movement, basically. I mean, it's not only insurance, but we think insurance is a really good target for us. But I mean, yeah, we need to look after each other. We need to try and build some kind of culture beyond what these guys are offering.
Thank you for your time.
Thanks.
Right, so we're just going to move along to the rest of the placards. So we're going to train fossil fuels, broken climate, broken offices, broken lives fighting over food. Stop insuring climate criminals. And yeah.
To introduce yourself and tell us why you're here today.
I'm Mary Light. I'm a retired nurse and I live in Devon. And I'm here because I have some hope that this could not carry on in the same direction.
We're going to talk about it. You might need to move it.
Okay.
So, what do you think might happen that will give us hope?
Well, it's not too late to stop the worst effects of the climate crisis.
Yeah.
And particularly the firm behind us, they know what they're doing. They know what they're doing. They've written a report. And why not stop? Why not stop insuring fossil fuel projects? And we could turn things around. We could.
So what is it you would like the insurance industry to do?
To stop insuring fossil fuel projects. Simple.
And that they can still make money, can't they?
Oh, yes. Plenty of other things to insure.
Yeah. Okay. Anything else? Anything else?
I think that'll do.
Done? Okay, well done. Thank you.
Might just go down. Okay, so we're here outside another occupation, and we're just going to talk to some of the people who are sitting down here. Hello, are you able to share your name or your code name or whatever you like?
I'm Daisy.
Hi, Daisy. What are you guys doing out here?
We're sitting in front of this building because there's an insurance company here that is planning on insuring people. And that's going to ruin my future, so I am not up for that.
I know this is like such a condescending question, but I'm going to ask it anyway. How old are you?
I'm 15.
So you're 15 years old and you're here sitting on the pavement in the city of London fighting for your future. I mean, that's pretty hardcore stuff. How does it feel to be sitting here?
It feels really good because it can feel very lonely, like caring about the climate crisis when you're so young. So it feels really good to have people with me that also care and to actually be able to do something and feel like I'm making a difference.
Yeah. Do you feel like other young people kind of around your age, are they concerned about this? Is this something that your work is talked about, or?
I think lots of them are worried about it, but they don't want to take action because it can feel quite scary, or their parents aren't up for it, or it's also not very cool. It's not considered quite very cool to be caring about the environment. So I think that's like, they do care, but they don't really want to do anything about it.
Yeah, that's fair enough, I guess. I mean, it is quite intimidating sitting here and you've got all these people walking past you, kind of trying to ignore you. If you could speak to these people, do you know what you would say to them?
I mean, if they work for this insurance company, then tell them to stop and not to insure any fossil fuels, to stop insuring that. Go to their bosses, tell them not to. And if they don't work for the insurance company, then tell the people that do work for the insurance company not to insure fossil fuels.
So, which group is this? Are you XR Wandsworth? Is that right? XR Wandsworth rock, by the way. Like, you guys are so active. It's so cool. So what would you say to people watching this who are like, oh, well, maybe I could join in? I mean, thinking about it, not too sure. What would you say to them?
Just do it. It's really fun. Everyone's really welcoming. Just do it.
Yeah, I mean, you guys look really nice. I think I would quite happily come and sit here with you. So hopefully we'll get some more people to come join you. Is there anything else or would you like to say anything? Is there anything else you'd like to say?
It's a lovely feeling that you're actually doing something, because you sit at home and it's quite debilitating not feeling anything's happening, and then you come out here and you think, well, actually some people might be listening to us, so it's a really lovely feeling.
I think it's great because this is so visual, isn't it? And like people can you can't really ignore this. Like you guys sitting here, we've got our cool ad van there. The leaflets. How have the responses been from people? Has anyone come and spoken to you? Are they taking your leaflets, or how has it been?
Some people have been taking photos of us.
Oh, really? Oh, so you're going to be Insta famous, but like in a friendly way, or?
I think it seems quite strange to have people sort of sitting in front of the place that you work. So I think it's sort of just like, oh, look, what's happening here? There haven't been too many people that have been angry at us or anything. We've not been here for too long, so maybe they will be, but at the moment it's been relatively friendly.
You haven't been shouted at to be told to go get a job and you're like, I'm 15!
Not yet.
Okay, well, amazing. Keep up the brilliant work. Thank you so much for being here. Yeah, enjoy it. And I hope you get lots of win over lots of hearts and minds. I'm sure you will. Yeah, thank you. Okay, I think we've got another interview lined up, or a pre-record. I can't quite remember. So let's go and have a look at that. Right.
Well, in the world first, the Extinction Rebellion live stream, sir, would you like to tell us your experiences of the protest today and how it's gone?
All I can say for the bomb opposite London Police and myself is you've been really polite, and you've facilitated your own protest, and I've made sure that there's not been any offences taken place.
Okay, and I think the police have been quite fair with XR this week, so thank you for that. And I know you're not comfortable doing this, so doubly thank you for that as well.
Thank you. Have a nice day, and hope that your protest goes well without any confrontation with the police.
Okay, thank you very much.
Okay, so I'm here at the WTW building. I've just joined some of my colleagues by posting up these signs here with some water-soluble paste. We're trying to draw attention to what WTW is doing. They're an insurance broker, and they also do risk analysis. And they've done a report recently which is looking at the probability of food riots in the UK in the next 10 years. So they're estimating the likelihood of food riots based off climate breakdown within the next decade. Now, this insurance broker also underwrites a lot of fossil fuel projects. So they are directly contributing, they are enabling the process which is creating the food riots. In their own analysis, they list extreme weather as the #1 risk factor for food shortages in the UK. And in the lack of production section, they list ecological collapse as the 2nd highest risk factor. So they are acknowledging that the climate emergency is the biggest risk to these food riots that they're looking into. Now, there's another section in the part at the end of the report, how to prepare. So this is advice for businesses on how to prepare. I'd like to read this quote. There will be an enormous reliance on the forces of law and order in these potentially extreme scenarios. This is the advice they are giving to their partners. They are saying, we're going to need to make sure we have enough enforcers to beat the starving population into submission during these food riots. This is our preparation plan. We're not planning to get more food or avert the effects of climate change. We need to make sure we can subjugate these riots when they take place. And I think that is utterly unconscionable. I can't imagine being an organization which knows the problem is happening, does nothing to prevent it, and plans to subjugate desperate, starving people when this process plays out. So that's why I'm here, to take a stand against this behavior.
And you're back live from the City of London. We're just outside the Lloyd's of London building. And we're going to hear from some speakers now. So we're just slowly walking over to the mic, to the rickshaw, to listen in to what these guys are going to be talking about. So we just had a lovely chat with some members of XR Wandsworth. Can you believe there's someone as young as 15 sitting out there? I mean, it must be so intimidating, but so brave and so committed. And, you know, that is her future. Like, it's all of our futures, but you know, we've had a life in Luxembourg, in a sense. Just have what it's going to look like for these guys. You know, it's and yeah, just the Eden is just yeah. So yeah, okay. We're going to listen to speeches now. On over to.
Without insurance, these projects cannot go ahead. And we're here today in the heart of the insurance industry. We have the Lloyd's building here, and we have another building here, 51 Lime Street. I'm going to come and talk about that in just a little moment. But this is the heart of the industry. People often say, oh, Extinction Rebellion, why don't you go to China or something like that? We know here that actually the fossil fuel industry has a base here in this country, and we are doing all we can to stand in solidarity with the people struggling out in other parts of the world, facing absolute misery and destruction, all these horrendous problems. And we have a power here that we can use. which is to put pressure on the insurance industry, to put pressure on them to do the right thing. And the insurance industry, above all things, really should have their eye on the future, right? That is their job. They're supposed to keep an eye on what's going on to mitigate risk. And right now, they're either not seeing the risks or they're pretending to plow ahead and not see them for the sake of profit. And that just doesn't make sense. And an uninsurable world is where we're headed. Too frequent climate disasters, too many frequent extreme weather events, create too many claims. It will collapse the insurance industry. That so much is really quite logical. And I'm not a super clever person, but that seems to make sense. This has a real world impact on people in areas that suffer repeated extreme weather. Areas can become uninsurable. And what does that do? That creates real horrendous misery, great suffering, creates social upheaval. And that is something that we're really worried about in Extinction Rebellion. Yes, carbon dioxide and the ecological destruction, but the downstream effects of that is what we're here to talk about today. We're here, the title of our Actions Day is After the Floods, Food Shortages, and I can't remember the second part of the title, excuse me. Anyway, but we are here to explain and connect the insurance industry to climate change, to global overheating, to connect people in people's minds the fact that the insurance industry could be helping, but at the moment they're fueling catastrophe. They are supporting the problems that we see around the world through their support for new fossil fuel projects. To my right here, this curved building where it says 51 Lime Street, we've got some brave rebels stood in front of there. You can see that they've put with some, let's give them a round of applause. Rebels in the front of the WTW building. So WTW are an interesting company. They are an insurance company. They've had their windows decorated with water-soluble glue and some posters. Let's make that clear to explain and again to shine a light on this particular company. WTW, by all accounts, some of their employees contributed to a report, and you can actually see that on the on some of these posters. Contributed to a report that said in a study they helped create, it said that the global warming, global overheating, climate change, extreme weather would contribute to food riots in the UK within 10 years. All right? I just want to let that sink in. A lot of people here in XR probably all too aware and all too fearful of such a thing. But do you think all the people in these buildings know about that? Should they know about that? They really should have their eyes on this, right? This is not a situation where we can comfortably head towards and say, look, we're okay with this. We must try to stop this. WTW should have their eye on this, yet they are one of these companies that have refused to rule out new fossil fuel projects. And Extinction Rebellion sent out a letter to over 50 insurers asking them, demanding that they stop insuring new fossil fuel projects. But unfortunately, we haven't heard back from any of them. And that, as far as we're concerned, makes them a target for our peaceful, non-violent direct actions to try to disrupt, shake up business as usual for them so they understand actually this isn't sensible. This isn't something that we should be continuing to do. We need to actually get them to realize, and we're inviting them. We see them as human beings. We don't see them as horrible people. Many of them just earning a crust, trying to provide for their families. But it's completely perverse. Oh my word, something's happening, everybody. I can just see, hold on. It looks like there's some spray painting going on onto the windows. It looks like something has been written on there. I'm struggling to quite see, but it's in a matching colours to the very fetching WTW colours. I believe it's chalk spray. I've just been reliably informed. And, you know, Extinction Rebellion use these peaceful protest methods to kind of shock people, to get people to wake up a little bit. It's not normal to spray paint the side of buildings. Well, we say spray paint, we're saying chalk spray. This chalk spray will get cleaned off, no worries. It's water-soluble stuff. It'll be no problem at all. But we're doing this to make sure that people understand we're not messing around. We're not trifling around here. We're serious. We need the insurance industry to see and hear. We need the people in the insurance industry to understand. They have this power. They have a responsibility. Surely there are sensible, clever people in these buildings around us that understand the threat of climate change. Surely they understand the danger posed by runaway global overheating, which is where we're headed. We are trying to bring this to life here today with our giant last potato, with all our actions are trying to connect the insurance industry with real problems that are coming down the line. WTW themselves are saying that they believe food riots are a likelihood within the UK within 10 years. That is crazy. How can they continue to support the industry that is contributing to the riots that they are suggesting could happen in the future? That is crazy. Surely someone needs to have a sit down with themselves and say, look, people, we can't do this. We need to turn around. And of course, there's huge inertia in these industries. Everyone's like, oh, well, I only have my little desk and I can't do anything. Oh, yeah, my boss doesn't give in. You know, I'm only a junior employee. Yes, but we all have a responsibility at this time to step up, to push our comfort zones, to try and use our voice, even if it's uncomfortable, even if we're worried that it will cost us a position in our roles, even if we're worried that people will look at us and think we're funny. It's not true. This is the most sensible, responsible thing to do. Surely the people in the insurance industry who are supposed to have an eye on the future should be seeing it is absolute insanity to insure new fossil fuel projects. And once they've said they're not going to insure new fossil fuel projects, how about stopping insuring all fossil fuel projects? That will pull the plug, stop this fossil fuel death machine that is destroying our world. It will stop it in its tracks and hasten the transition that we need towards a decarbonised future. So yeah, these brave rebels, I'm just trying to have a bit of a view as to see what they've written. It says, there's a few things. It's quite hard for me to read, but I can see, of course there's going to be repercussions for the people who've done that. They have put themselves, they are risking their liberty, they are risking coming into contact with the judiciary in this country. The police, no doubt, will have been a little bit upset, but they're very courageous. They're people who are standing on principle. They're not doing this for fun of it. They don't get up and think, oh, I'm just going to go and do this stupid thing. No, this is principled, direct action, peaceful action to call out and to call attention. I see lots of people walking past now. Some people might be bemused. Some people are trying to make light of this. Some people are trying to get their heads around what's going on. Some people hopefully thinking, what the hell is going on here? Why is this happening? We've got leafleters all around, handing people leaflets, trying to explain what we're doing. And you can see some of the signs in front of the action that's taken place. I can see one here. It says 4.5 million people in the UK will not be able to insure their homes due to flood risk caused by climate change in coming times. 4.5 million people, that's a huge number of people. What happens when you can't insure your property? It becomes impossible to live there. And this will cause huge social upheaval, huge social strain, and we fear that. And we want to try to prevent that, mitigate that as much as possible, and meet that challenge. And Extinction Rebellion is motivated by care, support, love for humanity, love for all life on Earth, all life right now and all life to come. We stand in defense of that. And the people, the rebels who have spray painted, spray chalk those windows just there, of course, they're putting themselves on the line to show how much they care, to show that they actually believe in justice, that they believe in a sensible, responsible position for this cause, and they're willing to risk their liberty to do that. So let's just give them a quick cheer again for those people who spray chalk the front of the WTW building. I think that's a brave and responsible position. Come on, everybody. And I've got to say, it's not comfortable, right? It's not an easy thing to do. It's not an easy thing to feel good about. But this is a crazy situation that we're in, where these companies seem to be doing the exact opposite of what is needed. So I'm just going to call somebody to the stage now, if that's okay. We're just going to call a few guests who have been very, very kind to come down today and have a chat with us. There's someone called Evelyn Asham, and she's from Uganda. And her organisation is the Agape Earth Coalition. So can I get a big cheer for Evelyn, please? Evelyn, thank you so much for being here. We'll just adjust the mic and over to you. Thank you.
Hi, everyone. My name is Evelyn Acham. I came all the way from Kampala, Uganda, to make the Global North accountable for the climate crisis that they have caused in my community, Uganda. Uganda is one of the countries that are being impacted most by climate change. And there is still investment of new fossil fuels in my country, like the East African crude oil pipeline that is being constructed in my country, where thousands of people have been displaced already from their households. And yet insurance companies are still continuing to insure oil pipelines like this pipeline that is in my country. So today, I am here to call out insurance companies to stop funding, to stop insuring any new fossil fuels, to stop insuring any fossil fuels, because insuring any new fossil fuels means more destruction for my community. I just want to tell you a little bit more how the climate change is impacting my community. My community is experiencing extreme climate disasters, extreme droughts. Historically, we used to experience 2 rainy seasons and 2 dry seasons, but right now we are only getting no rain at all or disrupted weather patterns and a long dry season throughout the year. And this is destroying crops. This is causing a lot of food insecurity. Already this was happening in my country where some people do not have access to food, but climate change is already worsening this disaster of food insecurity. Millions of people in my country do not have access to even 1 meal a day. Millions of people in my country do not have access to clean water because of the fossil fuels companies that are polluting the water in my country. People do not have access to food. People do not have access to quality education. Why? Because children have to drop out of school because their parents cannot afford to sell any food produce to take their children to school. So the climate crisis in my community is not just about electric cars. It's not just about all these solutions, but it's about the people. It's about the livelihoods of the people. It's about the children. It's about women. It's impacting us differently, and one impact leads to another. So I am so grateful to Extinction Rebellion for what you are doing. You are not just speaking up for the United Kingdom. You are speaking up for communities like mine that cannot speak up for themselves, that do not even have rights like this to speak up, that do not even have rights like this to go on the street to demand for democracy. Thank you so much for fighting for the people. Thank you so much for speaking up for the people of Uganda, for the people of Sudan, for the people of the DRC. Thank you so much. I just give all the power to you today and all the applause to you today for standing for our rights, for standing for the people of my community. This gives us hope. This gives us hope when we go back to our countries to keep speaking up, to keep fighting for justice, because climate change is an injustice. We haven't caused the climate crisis. Africa is only responsible for less than 4% of global carbon emissions, but we are paying for a crisis that we did not cause. Today, we are demanding for the people that have caused the climate crisis, for insurance companies that are still insuring new fossil fuels, to put an end right now, to stop insuring any new fossil fuels, because our people will continue dying. Our children will not have a future anymore. The grandchildren will not have a future anymore. We will not have an education anymore. We will not have food anymore. We will drown in our houses. We will die. We will not have a future. So we are speaking up today. We are asking the insurance companies today to stop funding, to stop insuring any new fossil fuels, and also not to insure fossil fuel companies at all, because that is the only way we are going to stop an end, to put an end in the fossil fuel industry. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Evelyn. Let's get a big cheer for Evelyn. That was incredibly powerful. Thank you. Let's say extinction! Extinction! We stand with you, Evelyn. We stand with we stand with everybody out there on the front lines. We cannot stand by in silence. And this isn't a theoretical thing. This isn't something that's like, this is happening. This is real. We're talking here about the potential for food riots in the UK, but these struggles are real in parts of the world going on right now. And we cannot stand here in good faith pretending that's not happening. And we must struggle forward. We must carry on. I just want to explain as well a little bit what's going on here. People can see our ad van at the back over the way there, just a little bit further down from where the rickshaw is here. As you can see, there's people, faces being shown on repeat over and over and over. These are the CEOs of insurance companies who we know have not ruled out insuring new fossil fuels. These are the CEOs who are insuring our destruction. And right now we want them to ensure our survival. These CEOs, of course, they're human beings. I can look at them. They've got faces, they've got families, they've got people, they've got real lives, they've got stresses and all that. But unlike some of us here, unlike all of us here, they're at the top of mighty organizations that could overnight change the landscape of this struggle for climate justice, for climate and ecological justice. So those CEOs, we are watching you. We are calling on you. We are demanding that you stop insuring new fossil fuels. We are calling on you to search for your humanity. What does it mean to be a good human being right now? We have to try and stop this. So I'm going to call to the stage someone who seems to know quite a bit about what's going on here. And if it's okay, can I just call you, Jill, to come over and have a quick explain, not too long if that's all right. Just let you sort of talk a little bit. Over to you.
Thank you. Okay, I just want to make 2 quick points. I was in court for willful obstruction of the highway, and one of the evidence I gave in my defense was actually a quote from a woman in Uganda who is a single parent. She has children. She has been displaced from her land, and she's worried about how she's going to feed her children. So this is, for me, what this is really all about. These people have done nothing wrong. And these guys, they don't care. But they do care enough to publish a report, which their own experts have given, explaining that in the UK, there will be food riots. What kind of insurance corporation is willing to fund that level of destruction and uncertainty? I don't think that's very good insurance policy, to know that you are funding the destruction of society and the complete breakdown of society with violence, because we know what happened when COVID happened and there were shortages in the supermarkets. People started punching each other for the last packet of pasta. That was for a short period. If this is going to go on forever, or for a long time unless we stop it, how come they've made a report which explains this, so they know themselves and they are still carrying on with the policy of funding fossil fuels? That is not good insurance policy. That's not good risk. And I thought insurance was about managing risk. That is not managing risk appropriately.
Thank you very much. Let's have a cheer for Jill. Thank you very much. And this is the situation that we find ourselves in. It's completely bananas, right? We're here in the heart of the city of London. There's lots of clever people here. Some very, very clever people. Some people who've been educated in the finest establishments of our land. Yet they are continuing to send us fast forward towards climate catastrophe. So, do you want to come and speak there? Okay, so we've got another speaker from the Agape Earth Coalition. And it's super powerful to hear from Evelyn earlier. But I'd like to invite to the stage Alia Elbal to come and have a chat with us and just to explain a little bit more about what's going on. Because, yeah, that was really, we're learning an awful lot. We are trying to always further our knowledge, to understand and to really feel what it is like all around the world. That gives us the motivation, the strength, and determination to continue. So, Alia, please come up. And let's have a cheer for Alia.
Hello, everyone. My name is Alia from Egypt and part of Agape. What I wanted to say, doctor, is that we are all facing climate crisis all over the world in many different ways. For example, at Africa, we have many droughts, we have floods, regarding to very high temperature and very high water consumption. What I wanted to say is that mentioned that Africa may affect climate at Europe. So we all have to be hand in hand. We have to be hand in hand aiming for more sustainable world, aiming for a highly sustainable world. I hope developed countries help developing countries because we are all at the same pot. Yeah, thank you for listening.
Thank you so much, Alia. And we've got to say, you know, we've got to recognise the bravery of people coming here to talk to us about this. Thank you ever so much. You know, it's really, really important. We hear these voices, put them on the stage. People listen to me talking, but it's really, really great to hear from Alia and Evelyn there and Jill as well, because actually a lot of this insurance industry stuff, it's kind of hidden away. The insurance industry has managed just to carry on doing its business as usual without actually really grappling with this issue. We're inviting them to step up into their power. We're inviting them to get on this because we cannot afford to carry on as we are. We cannot afford just to carry on business as usual as it is. It's completely insane. Someone's got to call it out. Extinction Rebellion are here doing that. And I want to say thanks to every single person who is here. Let's give ourselves a cheer. Does it sound great? Extinction! 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 Oh, well, look, thank you so much. And look, we're so beautiful here. We're here, remember, let's try and remember we're good people, that we are here for a search of justice, that we're here in pursuit of the truth, that we're here to expose the injustices, we're here to reveal the crazy insanity of what's going on in this world right now. I'm going to give you all a little bit of a rest. I'm going to go and find a few other things out. I just wanted to sit and chill out for a little while, and then we'll be back very shortly. Thank you ever so much. Let's do one more Extinction Rebellion. Extinction! All right.
Ensure our survival! Stop fossil fuel! Ensure our survival! Stop fossil fuel! Ensure our survival! Stop fossil fuel! Ensure our survival! Stop fossil fuel!
Sorry? Oh, hello! So those were some really amazing and moving speeches from several activists. And it's very loud. So yeah, really, really brave. These incredible women from Uganda and from Egypt, respectively, talking to us how their communities and their lives are already being affected by climate change. It just really brings home again. This isn't something from the future. This isn't something far away in the future. This is happening to people right now. And I think as well that we mustn't forget, like, it is by pure lottery that we are born where we are born. You know, this could happen to anyone. We just happen to be here where we are in relative comfort, living in the UK, although obviously people are struggling here as well. But, you know, we could just as easily have been born in a village in Uganda where you're either now suffering from extreme rainfall, extreme drought, crop failure, without any support to help you out. And you know that the people here in these buildings are helping contribute to the situation you are in. And it just, the injustice of it all is just incredible. Let's see if we can interview these guys in a second. Let me ask them first, politely. Right, let's move over here now. It's Evelyn, right? Yeah, it was such an amazing speech you just gave. I think you moved a lot of people here today. Even some people, I think, and that we're working fast. Yeah. So yeah, I mean, how does it feel to be here at this center of where all this insurance is happening and people aren't listening?
I mean, it feels, to me, it feels so empowering. Like for me, who is from a country where we can't do this, we can't speak up, we can't even protest We can't like speak up for any injustice. So, but seeing all these people like not actually putting the needs of the United Kingdom at the forefront, but instead they are putting the needs of the people from Africa and the global south, seeing them holding banners with Ugandan activists from the DRC. It's so inspiring for me, and it gives us the energy and strength because I mean, activism is so full of challenges sometimes. Sometimes you feel like you're not being heard, you feel like you want to give up, but seeing all these people like standing in solidarity with activists from Uganda, from the DRC, from all parts of the global south, it gives us hope, it gives us the energy and strength to keep speaking up. And also the fact that we have all these people that are able to speak up in front of an insurance company and do all the peaceful protests, but of course sending out a message also gives us like the hope that something is going to be done, something needs to change. Like it's not only us who are saying all this, because sometimes we are called mad, like we are called crazy, but I mean like seeing all these people thinking like we think is it gives me energy, it gives me hope, it gives me more life and more strategy, like to keep advocating, to keep fighting for justice.
Yeah. I mean, what is, do you think, in Uganda, do the people generally feel and are aware of the fact that they're being impacted by climate change? Or is that kind of more like a hidden thing? Like, I don't know if the government talks about it openly, or how do people think about climate change?
So, well, more than 4 years back, that climate change topic seemed a lie. It seemed like a strange topic to most people, including me. I didn't know about climate change until 2019 when I started doing research about climate change. That's after seeing my fellow activists protesting in front of the Ugandan parliament. And I started doing research on global warming. And surprisingly, I realized this is like a challenge that I've been experiencing. Like, I've seen seasons change, I've seen weather patterns change in my community. We don't receive like the right amount of rainfall at the right time. We're only seeing droughts, we are seeing extreme weather patterns, heat waves. So, and also crop production is becoming like it's going so low, which is leading to the rise of food prices, and this is leading to food insecurity. It's only the people who have money that can afford food. My father lives in the village, and he's a farmer. He depends on agriculture. He doesn't have any other job, but he doesn't like receive the food anymore, like from his farm, and we have to support him, to send money, to send support for him to live, to survive. So this is a reality happening in my community. But right now, I can say that people are picking up, they're starting to actively connect, because the impacts are becoming like you can't ignore them anymore, because they're affecting people directly. Not just the people in the village, not just the farmers alone, but they're affecting people even in the city in Kampala. People are feeling the heat wave, they're feeling the pollution, they're like it's affecting everyone. So I see like more young people rising up to speak up, but sadly in rural communities, there is still a very big knowledge gap in climate change. Recently, we were doing a research in northeastern Uganda in Karamoja region. This is a region that has about 1.4 million people who are living in extreme abject poverty. They have like most people do not have access to clean water. Most of them just eat one meal a day. Most people like they're struggling for food because the climate crisis has hit this region for a very long period of time, for a long time. And yet they don't even have the knowledge. Like they don't even know that this is climate change. They're connecting this to spiritual, like they're connecting this to like the gods being angry. Like it's the elders that have caused this. It's the gods in this community that have caused it. So every time they go through like a long drought season and like don't have food, they start killing animals. They sacrifice animals. They pray to the gods, like for the rain to come. So that is a climate like misinformation that is in this community. Yeah. So there is still a very big gap. I can't say that very many people know about climate change. I cannot say that. All I can say that
They recognize that there's a change in the seasons. It's not as reliable.
Yes. They recognize us. They recognize the problem and they're experiencing the problem, but they can't describe the problem. Yes.
So is it? I guess it's up to you and your fellow activists to say, I've stood in front of Lloyd's and in front of WTW, and they are. It's not the gods. It's these guys. So what do you think? Because I think people here in the UK, when you tell them we're going to be seeing food shortages, they just laugh. You know, they don't understand. As someone who's seen now communities experiencing that, what would you say to people who tell us, like, don't worry, we'll always have food, we're always going to be fine?
Like, what I can tell them is because they have the resources to adapt to the changing weather patterns, we don't have the resources. It's either the natural way or the natural way. We don't have the modern technology to produce food. We don't have the modern technology to provide irrigation for the farm. So maybe they are saying that because the UK is already adapting, like they have the resources, they have the money, like to adapt. So this is already there. So they always know that there's always plan B. So when there's too much like extreme weather patterns, there's always relief money, there always relief resources. There's always disaster preparedness in the UK, but in Uganda, the Ministry of Disaster Preparedness itself has to borrow money. Like every time extreme weather events happen, like floods, we go into debts, like borrowing more money to help people, to resettle people who have been displaced by landslides, to resettle people who have been displaced by floods. And already Uganda is already drowning in very many debts. So every time we keep borrowing, this is just making the economy worse and worse. That's why today I also want to, we are demanding insurance companies to stop insuring new fossil fuels. We are also demanding the increase of adaptation finance for our communities. This is a topic that very many rich countries, very many rich corporations are still ignoring because they don't care about this. So we need them to care about this. We are not begging, we are asking for them to pay because they should be accountable. They have caused the climate crisis. This is accountability. It is not begging. We are not begging for their help.
We're asking
them
for something they caused.
People in the UK, I just want to tell you that you need to care about the food shortage because the climate change is leading communities to a point beyond adaptation. There is that point where you will go beyond adapting to climate change. So you need to care about the food insecurity and do something about it. Think about the climate change. Think about how climate change is affecting food production. Because even the natural food is the more healthy food, right? Because this is the natural food. So I think that's what I can say to the UK.
No, definitely. I mean, we're going to see the food shortages here eventually. Even our money can't buy us out of it. So, hopefully we'll come to realize it sooner rather than later. But Evelyn, thank you so much for being here, and thank you for being such a wonderful, beautiful, strong voice for your community and for all of us. Thank you so much. So I think there's a few speeches happening. I don't know if that was recorded just now. There's so much happening at the same time. People are being arrested. People are speaking. There's all sorts going on. So I'm just checking to see if we're going to the speech. Yes, please. That would be great. We're going to cut away to a different interview now.
Would you like to introduce yourself and tell us why we're here today, sir?
Well, my name's Dr. Alan Heath. I'm here today as a scientist because as an uncle, my nieces and nephews are too scared to even talk about this. 40% of experts, including the WTW here, tell us that there's a 40% chance that we're likely, there's possibility that we'll have food shortages within the next 10 years due to climate change. And yet insurance companies like WTW continue to insure for fossil fuel expansion and the trouble that will cause. The United Nations, the International Energy Agency, the World Bank, the IPCC, etc. say there must be no new oil. The United Nations say that we are on a highway to hell with our foot on the gas pedal. Sir David Attenborough has told us all that the collapse of civilization is on the horizon, and the latest report suggests that business as usual scenario, we are on target for this to happen by 2040.
Great, thank you very much.
We're getting full understanding, knowing that they're going to destroy their own industry. How does that make sense? It's like something chewing its own tail off. It makes no sense at all. So the insurance industry are the key here. We are demanding that they stop insuring new fossil fuels, ensure our survival. It's a very sensible campaign, very well organised, with the backing of a great many sensible people, a great number of very good citizens. The members of Extinction Rebellion are here doing their utmost to shine a light on this insanity, and we will not stop. But right now, we have to have a short break while people get their dinner. All right, see you in a little while.
I'm here today outside WTW, a huge insurance brokers, as part of Extinction Rebellion's week of action, Ensure Our Survival. We're calling on insurance companies and brokers to refuse to insure new fossil fuel projects. I'm extremely alarmed at the accelerating pace of climate breakdown and the role that insurance companies play in this by insuring new fossil fuel projects that allows further carbon emissions to go ahead, and also that leads to even more accelerated climate breakdown and failed harvests. So in the UK, this last year has been the second worst on record in terms of harvests. And I myself am a grower. I grow food, and I've seen the failure of like our potato harvest, squash, other vegetables, other crops, and I'm just really worried about where that's leading, and sort of societal breakdown and scrapping, people scrapping over food, people hungry and scrapping over food.
Hello everyone, my name is Alia. I'm from Egypt and part of Agape organization. It is a sound for all African countries. Definitely that we are all suffering from climate crisis all over the world, not just Africa, not just Europe, all of the world. And we have to be one hand. Because we are all have the same crisis. For more actions and more solution and more sustainability. So we are aiming for more sustainable world. Thank you so much.
Hello, live stream. You join us again outside Lloyd's of London. This beautiful, it's actually finally dried up a bit here. This beautiful day. We're about our business. We're handing out some business cards today to business workers and handing out flyers to the business crew here. Our business is the business of ensuring our survival, which is our campaign name, which you've heard, I'm sure you've heard it chanted through the streets as you've been following us along this live stream today. So we're here outside various offices. We've got the Lloyd's of London building over here. We've also got WTW. WTW, and you can see on the windows of their office, we've got some gorgeous chalk paint that has been sprayed. We've got WTF, which we know what that stands for, WTW. Let's go and have a closer look and see what it says. So this has been done by some brave rebels this morning. As we arrived here at Lloyd's of London and WTW, here's their offices, 51 Lime Street, in case you want to pay them a visit. Did you know you can visit any of these insurers any time you like and let them know what you think about their insurance of the fossil fuel industry? Which is just what our rebels did this morning when they put up some fly posting and some graffiti. So we've got our campaign name here, Ensure Our Survival. Very brave of them to come and do this. Very simple action, very effective. What we've seen is insurance workers and business workers coming past, stopping with shock and looking and saying, gosh, what's this? This is damage to a building. What on earth is going on here? When really the real planet. So they're insuring the fossil fuel projects, which are pumping tons and tons of CO2 into the atmosphere, and a little bit of damage to their building, to highlight that to the very many people who are walking past here today, having a little look at what this says. Oh, excuse me. See, they're all in shock, they're all very stunned to see what's going on. So we're getting the message across in lots of different ways. And those rebels have been arrested. But it's strange, really, because we're not the criminals here. The criminals are the people inside this building. The criminals are the ones who are destroying the planet by their actions. Plain and simple, this is a very simple, non-damaging action that's been highlighting the work of the criminals inside. But unfortunately, the rebels were arrested. So let's have a little walk along and see what else has happened here. We've got our safety message. We've used water-soluble paste. This is proof that we've not caused lasting damage to the building. We've used simple posters. We've got WTW. Why are you insuring new fossil fuels when your own study says this could cause food riots in the UK within 10 years? So WTW put out a study that said, plain and simple, in the science that they know and understand, there's very high chance of there being food riots within the next 10 years. And instead of stopping insuring fossil fuel projects, they've continued. So they're committing us to an absolutely catastrophic future with shortages of food, which are likely to cause food riots. That is why a simple few posters on the outside of the building, no lasting damage, has been done here today to highlight that this company are insuring our destruction and not our survival. Moving along, we've got some XR logos in purple, looking beautiful. I must say, I'm a big fan of the XR logo. It's actually an hourglass, in case you didn't know, which signifies that time is running out. So here we've got a beautiful, large, purple XR logo, and we've got ensuring fossil fuels equals broken climate equals broken harvests equals broken lives fighting over food. The messaging couldn't be simpler. WTW need to wake up and read the writing that is literally on the wall. We've also got some facts here. I'm going to help you with your accessibility needs and help read these out for you. We've got floods, heat waves, and food insecurity is driven by climate change. Is the daily reality for 13.8 million people in Latin America. We've got widespread famine, conflict, mass migration due to climate change. And this is Potsdam Institute for Climate Impact Research, October 24. So this is up-to-date science predictions. So science is predicting we're going to have famine, we're going to have increased conflict, we're going to have mass migration, and it's all due to climate change. And here we have some lovely business people just walking past, so we'll let them tell the truth. The truth is that soon we'll have 4.5 million people in the UK will not be able to insure their own homes due to the flood risk caused by climate change. And that's from the Council of Estate Management for 2024. So the thing here is that we've got insurance companies who are refusing to insure the homes of people who live in this country because they are at flood risk, but they themselves are causing the floods. You know, it's kind of like, when are they going to see? They're the ones that are actually aware of the risks. They're risk portfolio managers. You know, they should be aware of these risks. I think they actually are. We need them to act now. And the final, tell the truth here, the UK veg production has fallen 5% due to flooding and extreme weather caused by the climate crisis. And that's from Sustain, the Alliance for Better Food and Farming. So the writing is literally on the wall. It's clear as day. the facts are here. These are the companies that are responsible, and this is really, really simple to ask them what they need to do, which is to stop insuring fossil fuel projects. So it's been a very active morning. It's been very busy. We've had the drummers, we've had the rebels, we've had a line of rebels outside Lloyd's of London who have been actually handed out some food from Exile. They've been given some food, they've been given a single pea to demonstrate the food shortages. It's not enough food to get by on lunch. Thankfully, we've got some backup food for them, but they were given a catastrophe. Should we go and have a look along the line of rebels outside Lloyd's of London? See if we can find someone who's... we had some lovely people here. Is anyone happy to chat to the live stream? Yeah? Don't mind. I know you're eating your lunch. You said you got given a pea earlier for your food. What did you think of that?
It was quite dry.
It was dry. And was it enough to sustain your hunger?
Nothing is enough to sustain my hunger.
And what if that was all the food that you were given in a daily allowance?
It wouldn't last very long.
And how does that make you feel?
Well, you know why I'm here. You know why we're all here. That's how I feel.
Moved to be here because you're aware of the problem. How are you? You know how you feel motivated to be here because of how you feel.
Yeah, exactly. I'm from just south of Reading. I got out of bed in the morning and came here. I'm going to come here tomorrow. I'll come here the next time after that.
And it's a deep movement inside you. Yeah. Sometimes we're called a movement because of, we're a large-scale organisation, but actually what's happening is inside we're moved, aren't we? Can you tell us a little bit about your emotions that you go through on a day when you're with Extinction Rebellion? I'm sorry, I know it's quite a deep thing to ask you to do on live stream.
I'm here because it has value and meaning, but it's nice that it's also fun.
Say again, sorry?
It's nice that it's also fun.
Yes, it's fun. Okay, tell me what's fun for you?
10,000 friends.
That's amazing. And these are, how long ago have you had these friends?
It feels like since this morning and forever.
Wonderful. Thank you very much. That's really moving. Is there anything else that you'd like to say to camera?
If you're not here, you should be.
Beautifully put. Thank you very much. Have you got anything you'd like to add to that, ladies? That was pretty succinct, wasn't it? It's pretty powerful stuff. Thank you very much. I'm glad to be one of your 10,000 friends. Thank you. Let's go have a look over this side. Have a look at the giant potato. Have you seen the giant potato yet? It's stunning. This is our world's last potato. Giant replica potato, or a kind of demonstration of what we could be looking at when we are just down to the very last bits and pieces of food. We've got some leeks and some onions, and I think the sign is up the wrong way, so let's just turn that the right way. We've got onions for £50 each because they are flood damaged, because we're not able to grow our own crops, and we've got some shriveled carrots here, 5 for £300 shriveled due to the heat wave. Well, we already know that the crops that we've got, we said on the sign earlier, 5% fewer vegetables grown in the UK in the last year. But we actually know we've got fewer than 100 harvests left in the fields. The nutrients in the fields are depleting to such an extent that we are not going to be able to produce food to feed ourselves in a very short amount of time, and that situation is getting worse. And that's not taking into consideration the floods that we're experiencing that mean that we can't grow crops. So we're all going to be starving, and we're going to be given very little food to get by. Let's have a look, see if we can chat to anybody else who has been on the food mission today. Let's go and have a look over here. All our rebels are getting some tasty lunch, as we do feed them in the end. Sorry to interrupt you folks, would anybody be happy to chat on the live stream? I put you on the spot. I just want to find out, did you get some food today?
I did.
You did?
Delicious.
Delicious food. And you were sustained by that food?
I was, yes.
Excellent. And what about the pea before? Did you get a catastrophe?
I didn't actually, because I was playing in the band. So, I didn't have a spare hand to hold my bowl.
That's okay. You saw that we were handing out limited food and you understand about food shortages. How do food shortages make you feel?
Terrified, especially that report, which they said is by the actual insurance company, saying it's going to happen in 10 years. But yeah, I mean, I think you can just see that anyway, how fragile our food system is. You know, it doesn't need hardly anything really to disrupt it, whether it's transport, you know, if you have flooding and the haulage trucks can't get to supermarkets, or I often think, you know, even if you have like just a field with 2 inches of rain covering it, that's still going to make the crops rot. Doesn't have to be litres of water. Yeah, it's just, I mean, we saw, was it in Spain, was it last year or the year before, with their droughts? And we get so much of our sort of food from, 50% of our food I think we get from abroad. So, I mean, obviously they're not going to, once food starts getting short, they're not going to want to sell it to other people. They're going to keep it for their own countries. So yeah, it's all a bit terrifying, really.
Terrifying is a great word to use when we're thinking about food security. It's crazy to think that we're literally squandering the ability to provide food for ourselves and for our families. And what do you think about the people who are responsible? Like you said, there was a report by the insurance company. What message would you give to them?
Well, it seems like blatant negligence, really. If you've actually issued a report yourself and you know about these things, you can't ever claim, "Oh, we didn't know." And they're all, you know, very well educated people that have gone through all the risks. So yeah, I mean, it's shocking, really.
Yeah, shocking is another good word. These words that we hear, like they can kind of get a bit numbing after a while, and we're using quite extreme language, climate chaos, climate breakdown, and food shortages, and like critical, extreme, emergency, all these sorts of things. They can start to feel a bit numb after a while. How do you feel about that?
Yeah, I mean, I think that is true, but I mean, I think we just need to keep sort of hammering the message home, because there's almost not enough stuff in the media, I think, really. A lot of it's all on social media. You know, the actual mainstream sort of media, newspapers, television, you don't really see much at all. I mean, like that lady from, you know, Uganda and all these places, you never hear anything about stuff abroad, problems. So, yeah, I think we need a lot more in the media, really. We need to start getting people actually realising truly what's happening and getting properly afraid. I mean, not wanting to be sort of extremist, but I think people don't act unless they start to be genuinely worried and concerned. So, yeah.
Was that the journey that you went on yourself? What journey did you go on to become aware and then act? Can I ask you that?
I suppose it is just as you start reading more and finding out more, and you do start to just think, crikey, it's just you can't believe that. I mean, because it's been decades and decades people have been saying these things, and obviously the longer you leave it, the harder and more painful all these changes are going to be. If they'd started doing them 50 years ago when people had said, they wouldn't be that painful a change, but now it's just getting really horrible. I mean, there's quite a few places I've just been past recently where they've been trying to put in like big solar farms, and there's actually been huge opposition against the solar farms. You think, how are we ever going to reach net zero unless you have? Yeah, you might not want to look out of your bedroom window and see a big solar farm, but I'd rather have that and still have some countryside and food to eat and things like that. I mean, I think we've got to accept there is going to be some pain and not such nice things, but overall they're a hell of a lot better than what is going to happen if we don't.
Yeah, you've got to. I mean, if you're looking out of the back window, you've got a home for a start. You've got somewhere to look. You know, you're very fortunate in the first place. I mean, a lot of the speakers earlier, from particularly like you mentioned, the speaker from Uganda, they're talking about the fact that so many of the countries in the global south, or the majority world, are experiencing worse than we are here. You know, and it takes us to hear those voices for us to start really feeling it, because like we might have a slightly colder winter or wetter summer and it's sort of mild, isn't it? So it's not very visceral for us to feel. But you were saying that you felt that awareness growing over time. And I totally agree. I think the media have so much to be responsible for, and they're just failing us really terribly, aren't they?
Yes, they are. Yeah, it is. It's really sad. You can just see how sort of financially driven sort of every bit of media you see. It's all based. If you track it back, you can see it all comes from someone who's got to sort of either they're going to lose out money or not make it profits. I mean, even when you were saying about that lady from Uganda in terms of food, it's also these sort of ripple effects. Like she was saying, it's not just the fact that you can't feed your family and the people are hungry and barely have one meal a day, but it's also they can't sell any food, so they can't have any money to send them to give their children, get them into education, give them the school books and things like that. So it's this never-ending ripple effect of all these effects, which again, I think it's easy to sort of miss them. People say, or if you do get something in the media, it's just like a sound bite, and they don't actually go through all the full ripple effects.
The ripple effects are getting bigger, though, aren't they? And people are waking up and they're feeling that urgency and that need to change. So thank you so much for being on the interview. It was a pleasure talking to you, and enjoy the rest of your rebelling day. Take care. Thanks a lot. Okay.
So nice to meet you. Could you tell me a little bit about who you are and what you do?
I'm Hugh. I'm from Inverness. And I'm an ecologist. I do river restoration.
And I'm wondering if you already see any impacts of climate change.
There's a massive impact in climate change on our rivers. Our rivers are going to die due to climate change. They're already overheating, and the fish in the rivers are in great threat of extinction. So this is what we need to do something about it. We need to. Extinction Rebellion's got ideas about reducing the carbon in the atmosphere, or not making it any worse. So we need to do something about it. Obviously we can do things on the ground for mitigation, so we're trying to shade the rivers too, but the bigger picture is all about not having too much carbon in the atmosphere.
Do you have a message for AXA, since we're standing outside AXA?
AXA could help us by not making anything worse. If they don't insure new fossil fuel projects, that will help us not make things worse, and we'll try and make things better.
We're back outside WTW 51 Lime Street. You're joining us live on the live stream. Thank you for coming along. It's a pleasure to have you here. I'm Lizard, and I'm here outside this beautiful piece of artwork which we've seen. The rebels, brave rebels, have been putting their work on the outside of this building to make the company inside and the people passing by aware of the absolute destruction of insuring fossil fuels. Just earlier over here, we had 4 arrests from rebels as they were put away. You can see them showing their hand on the glass, spraying chalk paint over that, and you can just see, just from my moving my finger over that has removed some of the chalk paint, so it is easy to remove. This was water-based paint, it's easy to remove. It's just simple wording, simple chalk paint, and yet they've been arrested and taken off today. So we're here in solidarity with them. We're going to be drumming, we're going to be talking to passers-by. We've got lots of leaflets to hand out to the insurance workers. Well, not just insurance workers, the whole of the City of London is full of financiers of the fossil fuel industry, whether they're construction workers or Hello, sir. Would you like to stop for an interview and just chat to us at this moment? You're a little bit late. Yeah, oh, no problem at all. Just thought I'd give it a go. You know, sometimes they want to stop and chat to you. So yeah, outside Lloyd's of London today, we've seen hundreds of workers actually engaging. They generally stop to take photos. They're looking at what's going on. They're taking it all in, and we know that these actions actually have a lasting effect. We speak to the workers, we engage with them, and we know that over time our presence does make it through to their subconscious and their conscious in their meetings. So they will stop and they will think and they will actually act, they will change. We had Probitas earlier this year dropping their insurance of the EPOC, the East African crude oil pipeline, which was a fantastic breakthrough for the Insure Our Futures campaign, which happened earlier in February, as I said. So what we're doing is we're just keeping up that pressure, we keep coming back, we back up our actions with really simple communications. We make sure we tell the insurance companies why we're coming. We make sure we tell them in advance. We give them ample opportunity to engage with us. We write them letters. We then go and see them. We turn up at their offices. We're very, respectful, and we're peaceful, and we're non-violent. We're giving them a really, really clear message on what we need them to do, which is to stop insuring fossil fuels. Let's go and have a little look at the drummers now. They've got the energy. So normally at the end of a big action like this, where we've had arrests, there's a lot of energy in the air, and the drummers, the amazing rebels, rhythms of resistance. The XL drummers will play us a good old set of banging tunes, and the acoustics are fantastic here. So we've got the big buildings, they tend to echo the sound off, and it sounds amazing. So let's have a little listen to them for a bit, shall we?
My name is Evelyn Acham, and I'm a climate activist from Uganda with Agape Earth Coalition. Today we are at an action organized by Extinction Rebellion, and we are demanding insurance companies to end insuring fossil fuels, any new fossil fuels, because insuring any fossil fuels means destroying our lives, means destroying our people, means destroying our livelihoods. As someone from Uganda, a country that is already being impacted by climate change, we are calling out insurance companies to end insuring any new fossil fuels, because this is going to worsen the climate crisis that my community is already experiencing. This is going to worsen food insecurity. This is going to increase poverty. This is going to worsen poor education. It's going to worsen access to clean water, access to clean air. We are calling out insurance companies today to stop insuring any new fossil fuels. Stop it now. Stop it today. Thank you.
Thanks for joining us back again at the live stream outside Lloyd's of London, where rebels are just having a very well-earned break. They're having some food, they're feeling good, they're listening to the rhythms of resistance, and the energy is that we're just wrapping up our day. Thank you so much for helping me with the mic. This is my first live stream you're joining me here for. It's quite a wild ride. Let's see if we've got anybody up for an interview. Let's have a little look over here. Hi. Would you be up for an interview? Would you be up for an interview on the live stream about why you're here today? No, not feeling it. Okay, no problem. We've spoken to these people here, so we've definitely heard from them. Let's have a chat with, looking for my next victim. interview one of the live streamers. That's not the plan. How about this lovely steward here? Hello. Would you mind being interviewed on the live stream?
Who are you interviewing for?
We're just interviewing for XR. Where's my badge? Here you go. It's XR. So we're in the same team here. Can I ask, how was your day today?
It's been good, thank you. I've come from Somerset and I got here a bit late, but it's great to be here.
But you've been stewarding today. How's that been?
Stewarding's fine. Everything seems quite calm since I've been here anyway, I think.
Yeah. And what did stewarding involve for you today?
Stewarding involves just making sure everybody's safe. That's the primary role of a steward. So there's no traffic here, so it's quite easy. Telling people where the toilets are, second thing. Making sure people got food and know where the food is, that sort of thing. Just making sure everything's okay.
Very important work that you've been doing today. And what motivates you to do this work with XR? Why are you here? You're looking for stats, aren't you?
There's a sign.
We're looking for the sign, the motivating sign.
About, sorry, can't see it now, about Latin America and about food security in Latin America. My daughter-in-law is Mexican, and I have a 3-month-old grandson who is Mexican.
Can I give you a hug?
Well, the motivation came in. Thank you,
Thank you for sharing with us what's obviously quite a deep emotional motivation.
You see, this is supporting what's happening in Latin America as well as what's happening in the UK.
And it's scary, isn't it?
It's terrifying, yeah, really, when you think that how that child's going to grow up and, you know, what he's going to face for his, you know, his other grandparents not here.
And so, when you're feeling those emotions, what happened? How did you decide to turn your feelings into action? Can you talk us through that a little bit?
Well, I've been in exile for longer than that, so yeah, it's coming out the street and doing something, being visible and showing that you care about it, telling people about it. I think many of these people don't actually know. You know, their companies are insuring the fossil fuel industry, so yeah, we're cleaning that off now.
Oh, we're getting a clean-up job happening. Thank you so much for sharing your story and your motivation and being involved in XR, and thank you for everything you're doing as a steward. And you made it sound so fun, and I know it is, so thank you very much. What was your name? Do you mind giving your name? Emma, thank you so much. Lots of love. Right, we've got the clean-up job going on over here. This is just to show our responsible rebels, making sure we leave no trace at the end of our action. Mind if I just have a little chat with you? What's going on here?
So this is all water soluble, as you can see. It's all coming off. We're just applying water to it. We're going to wash this off. At the point where we leave, then all of this will be gone. So that's what we're doing.
Excellent. So we're leaving no lasting damage. Is that right?
Absolutely. There's no lasting damage. In fact, if we left this, then the rain would take it off anyway. So yeah, I'm just coming in and we're just washing it off.
Okay, fantastic. Thank you very much. And it's a bit of a contrast, isn't it, that we leave no damage and we're arrested, and yet the people inside the building are causing very lasting damage and are not being arrested. Could you tell me what you think about that?
Well, this is a tiny window here. What's happening that the insurance companies are doing is a global scale. So this is just a different order of magnitude completely. And what's really annoying is that I'm here and I'm wiping it off. The cleaning material that was originally brought here to clean this off, the police took that cleaning material, and so we're having to improvise our cleaning. So we're just doing the best that we can to clean the window here.
So they've disempowered us from actually doing our clean-up job, taking away the materials?
Absolutely, the police took away the materials, and so we're doing our best to try and clean this up now. We're just trying to improvise what we can, given that the police have undermined our operations.
Thank you so much for doing what you're doing, and I really appreciate that we're going to do our best to leave no trace. Like I say, can I just ask you what motivated you to be here today?
What motivated me to be here today is that I have a family. That family includes a generation below me, and I want to leave a better future for them. I don't want to go along, we have all the goodies, and then we go along to them and say, it's for you to clear up the mess afterwards. Clear up your own mess. That's what I'm doing here. That's what the insurance company should be doing.
powerful messaging. Thank you so much, and I'll leave you to your cleaning job. You're doing an amazing job. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Thanks. Hi there. Are you okay there? Always getting involved. Let's listen in. I think we might need to just have a listen in. Are you stopping the cleaning?
No, what we're asking is, I appreciate that he's making an attempt to clean, but I would prefer that he didn't, because we'll get people to come and clean it and get the stuff removed. I'm just kind of concerned that it might make more of a mess.
Okay, so I appreciate that, but what we tend to do is take responsibility for our actions and do the clean-up job, and it's like an important part of what we do.
That, but also understand that this gentleman's just highlighted that the rags and the stuff that you had to clean it has been taken away from the police, so he's kind of making do, and I prefer that it was left under these circumstances.
And do you mind me asking you, I'm Liz, I'm from XR, and we're on the live stream here. I'm sorry to put you on the spot, but do you mind just letting us know who you are?
My name's Gordon, but yeah, I'm linked to the building of security, but yes, and I prefer it to be off live stream, but I appreciate it.
Okay, thank you. We'll respect your wishes to be taken off the live stream, but Gordon from the building security there, I'm getting some instructions, just bear with me a second, I'm struggling to multi-listen. Okay, we're going to head off to an interview now, I think. We're going to lose the live stream for a second. Thank you for staying with us, and we'll be back here again soon. Thanks a lot.
Hi, my name is Nicholas Omnuk. I'm a climate justice activist from Uganda and also part of the Stop ECOP campaign. And we are all here today, people from the Global South, including people from Africa like me who are climate activists, and people from the UK, to stand in solidarity together to fight against insurance companies that are insuring fossil fuels, that are insuring corporations in countries like mine where we have oil projects. So we're here to demand that they stop insuring fossil fuels for our future, because we have been impacted by most of the impacts of the climate crisis. We have been displaced by corporations. We have been oppressed by corporations, all in the name of profit. We are tired of profits. We are tired of companies harming us in the name of profits. And we want justice. We are here to seek justice. We are here to seek accountability and to demand that insurance companies stop insuring fossil fuels and instead insure our future, instead insure our survival, instead insure technologies that are going to sustain us for the rest of the generations, technologies that are going to even be of positive impact to countries like us in the Global South. So stop insuring fossil fuels, insure our future, and insure our survival.
Welcome back to the live stream. Continuing to ask people what's motivated them to be here today, and we were just starting our conversation. We will start that again. How are you doing, and what's motivated you to be here?
I mean, it feels important to do what I can to make a difference. And yesterday I was at 22 Bishopsgate inside, and I was assured by people in there that what we do does make a difference. And they were encouraging, not all of them, but some of them were encouraging us to make a difference. And so it feels good. Whatever difference it makes, you know, just to do what I can. I can live with myself for that, and that's important.
So you get a sort of sense of peace from being involved in the movement, is that right to say?
I do, and it's so enjoyable. The people who I'm with, I so enjoy being with them. So apart from anything else, it's a great pleasure to be with such great people who are motivated by a good cause and who are trying to do their best.
Someone said earlier it's like having 10,000 friends.
Absolutely. And, you know, the values haven't changed from the first time in 2019 when I came along, and to be part of those values, to have been for a long time with people. You know, I've got to know some people very well, and there's some very important people in my life.
That's amazing. Yeah, similarly. And you were inside one of the buildings yesterday.
Yeah.
You had some good conversations with the insurance workers in there.
Some very good conversations. You know, some of them were, you know, really encouraging us to do what we were doing. And you
lots of people took leaflets. I don't know whether they'll come along to the Zoom meeting, but either way, lots of people were prepared to take leaflets, and they were impressed that we got in the building despite their security measures.
And you didn't get arrested, is that right?
We didn't get arrested. No, they were very kind to us. They said, as long as you're not disruptive, it's fine. Once we got in, they accepted we were in, and they were happy to let us be there. And yeah, we had a good relationship. And somebody from the team is taking a box of chocolates to the security to thank them and for saying sorry for being a bit sneaky about how he got in.
A little bit sneaky to get in, but in the long run, a lot of honesty really when you're there, they're telling the truth.
Absolutely, and we apologised, and as I said, so it felt like a very good relationship with the people who were there in security and with the insurance workers, and trying to tell them and trying to make a difference.
And that difference is really important, isn't it? We can see that we've had insurance companies change their behaviour due to XR action.
Absolutely. Last time Zurich changed their behaviour after we went in the lobby, and as I said, people are saying, please keep going. It makes a difference. They couldn't give their names because they'd get into trouble, but they were saying, please carry on. So even though there aren't that many of us, even the small number that there are, we can make a difference.
Amazing. Thank you so much. I really enjoy doing the lobby footage and the lobby occupations with you, and I think what's stunning to me is actually, I think a lot of people don't realise how empowering that actually can feel. And just what you were saying then about you didn't get arrested, you just used your rights, you went in, you had conversations. Would you recommend other people to do this?
I would recommend. It was the first time I'd ever done it, and I was a bit nervous beforehand, but I so enjoyed it. I spent quite a few hours with some wonderful people, some of whom I didn't know before, and I know them now. We had a wonderful time singing, meditating together, giving out leaflets. We had a really good time.
What's not to love, really? Yeah, fantastic. Thank you so much. What was your name?
You're welcome, Stephen.
Stephen, that was Stephen. Thank you so much, Stephen. It was lovely to chat to you. Well done, and see you again. Well, we've got the Red Rebels over here. Let's have a little quiet moment as we take in the beauty and the awe of the Red Rebels taking up their space. How do you feel about just letting us know why you're here today? How are you feeling?
I am feeling tired. Sorry, no, you've got the wrong person. I'm not the right. I haven't had enough sleep. I'm a little bit all over the place.
That's okay. I completely understand. There's actually quite a lot that goes on at Extinction Rebellion actions, and it can be quite emotional. So if you want me to move on, I absolutely can. But if you want to take a second, just catch your breath with me as a fellow rebel. All I'm going to ask you is if you can think about maybe what motivated you to come here today. Is there anything that you'd like to, or what you'd like to say to the insurance companies? That's another good one. Got a message for them?
I can say what motivated me to come here today. You know, it's difficult to know where to start with the climate crisis. It's so multifaceted and so overwhelming. And where do you start? And everything you try and do is laughed at or belittled by our right-wing media and the general population, and it can feel quite dispiriting sometimes. So anything that we can find, and if it's insurance, which is the weak spot in this whole crisis, let's do it. Let's go there, because we need to do anything that we can. It's just, you know, it's a crisis. So let's connect with it and lean into it with our hearts, because that's all we can do, and that's what brought me here today.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate you digging deep, as we all do as rebels, to find that little bit of extra energy to let us know on the live stream what motivates you to be here today. It's such an important thing. Like you say, it can seem so vast and so unwieldy and so difficult to know where to put your energy. And I think XR does really well at like targeting us and showing us a clear path through to, very clear messaging, very clear target. I mean, WTW, they had a report themselves that said that we're going to have food riots within the next 10 years, and then they continue to insure the projects that are causing that. I mean, I didn't know that. I didn't know insurance was the Achilles heel of the fossil fuel industry until I was involved in Extinction Rebellion. And they're showing us a clear route through to taking meaningful action in a direct way. That's why one of the reasons why I'm involved. Would you say that kind of rings true for you too?
Yeah, for sure. As I said, any route that we can find, and let's be strategic about it. Like things will work up to a point until they stop working. Let's be agile. Let's find different ways of attacking this. And if people in these buildings are not meeting this crisis as they can in their unique position, what hope is there for humanity?
Absolutely. And thankfully, we see the change happening. So we see insurance companies changing the way they work in order to actually benefit the sustainable projects and to stop the fossil fuel funding. Isn't that right?
Because they are humans too, and they've got kids too. Surely they care about the future generations. They care about the planet that we live in. It can't all be Fortress Britain and closing off our walls to the crises that will unfold in due course.
Thank you so much for sharing your thoughts on the live stream. I really, really do appreciate it. Enjoy the rest of your day, and I'll see you around. Would you like to say your name?
James,
it was lovely chatting to you. Thank you very much. Take care. Okay, we're going to have a little look along the row here and see what's going on. I think we've got our video screen at the end showing us the names of the fossil fuel criminals. We had rebels arrested today for putting up their messages on the outside of the building, and yet they are not the criminals at all. In fact, it's the people in these buildings who should be arrested. Thanks for joining the live stream. I've been Liz, and you've been wonderful. Goodbye.
So I'm here outside the, WTW building, having brought photos of and slogans of what is going to happen if we carry on the way things are, if insurance companies carry on insuring fossil fuel projects, which they could easily stop, and Zurich has already stopped.
Listen, I need you to listen to me for a second. So the time is 9 minutes to 1, okay? You're going to be arrested on suspicion of criminal damage. Okay? You do not have to say anything, but it may harm in defence if you do not mention when questioned something which you may later learn in court. Anything you do say, it may be given evidence. Do you understand what I've just said to you?
Yes.
So the necessities for this, you haven't given me a name, you haven't given me your address, and at the moment, just to protect the building, you have caused possible damage towards the building, and prompted effective investigation with needs of an interview. Do you understand everything I've just said to you there?
Yes, you said it rather fast, but I think I understood.
Do you want me to say it so?
Yeah, a bit more slowly.
You do not have to say anything.
Yeah.
It may harm your defence if you do not mention when questioned something which you may later rely on in court.
Yeah.
Anything you do say may be given in evidence. Do you understand what I've just said to you?
Yes.
Yeah? Do you want me to go over the necessities for this arrest as well?
Sorry, the
necessities. So the necessities for this arrest?
If you like, yeah.
So prompt and effective investigation with needs of an interview.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Prevent further damage happening to the building.
Okay.
And you haven't given me a name. You haven't given me your address. Okay.
Yep.
So they're the 4 necessities I'm arresting you for.
Okay.
I've given you the caution, and you fully understand that. You happy?
Yes.
Perfect. Do you feel the need for cuffs? I don't. What I'm going to do, I'm going to get you to stand up. I'm going to give you a quick search under section 32 of PACE.
Yep.
Right. Let's stand up then.
Okay. Right.
What was the time? 9:02. 1:09, sorry.
You got any evidence bags on you?
No, unfortunately not. I gave them all to my colleague. Do you mind if I just give my colleague that? Okay?
I was given this P, which is something. Can I give you the P?
I don't think they'll let you take it.
No.
I'm going to take this off, okay?
Yes.
I don't want to get lost, okay? Right, so
Is she under arrest?
Is she under arrest now? She arrested. Is that personal property? Is that yours? Yeah, okay.
And which one have you arrested? What's the charge? What's the reason? Thank you very much.
I think insurance companies are either exceptionally brave or stupid. I look at something like the EA COP line and I look at the massive risks involved. This could pollute 2 major water sources. There are millions of people who could end up homeless, who could end up without the means of feeding themselves, who could end up without the means of drinking water. And who will be on the line for this? Well, the insurance companies. Do insurance companies really want to take this massive risk on board? I don't think so. I don't think you should be insuring our death. I think you should be insuring our survival. Insure our survival, not insuring fossil fuels.
So any messages you want to give?
Oh, just tell everybody I'm fine.
And what about the issue?
Well, the issue, of course, is huge, huge, huge. Yeah, that it could make a huge difference if insurance companies stopped insuring fossil fuel projects. That's what we want. It'll make a huge difference. And it's not difficult for them to stop. Zurich has stopped. Why don't the others follow? Why don't the others follow? That's what we're here for today.
You can sit down.
Oh, thank you.
So we're just going to wrap up this third part. I think it was the third part. I've lost count. Maybe it was the second part. It was the second part, and we've got one more part of the live stream for you today. So we're going to have a quick break. This has been a fantastic experience being here outside the Lloyd's of London and WTW building. Thank you for joining us, and we'll see you at 4 p.m. back on the live stream. Till then.
Fossil fuels are fueling climate breakdown, bringing droughts, floods, and famine. Those who are least responsible for the climate crisis are paying the price of big oil's greed. As the climate destabilises, food systems collapse and futures are lost. Fossil fuel giants are wrecking the planet. But they couldn't do it without their enablers, the insurers who profit from this destruction. These are the CEOs who insure the fossil giants. Their decisions result in the loss of loved ones and livelihoods. The world is turning against the companies that finance climate collapse. Every fossil fuel project they insure leads to more destruction, more hunger, more death, and more climate chaos. People are suffering. People are dying. Insurance companies must stop underwriting fossil fuel murder.